Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we are live, and it is Thursday, and it is March Madness. I don't know about y'all, it's been crazy here at the Chat Sports Studios. We've been watching a bunch of the games here, and also March Madness starts for the duck races on top of that. For everybody out there that is tuned in and ready and eager to see who could potentially win up to $1,600, not today, but at some point in the month of March or maybe even April as March Madness continues to roll. Coming up here on today's live show, we are going to get into some news and rumors. We're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals because apparently they are open to trading the number 4 overall pick. We'll kind of dive into that. Since there's a report floating out, or not even a report, one of the GM for the Cardinals said that like anything is possible on the table, and we'll get into all the quotes there. However, if this does end up happening, I have kind of put together a list of the perfect draft scenario for the Raiders to potentially go up and trade, maybe get a guy like Jaden Daniels, since we've talked about him so much, but I'll also go in and break down what I think a trade to number 4 would potentially cost, because I think what it costs now compared to what it cost probably a month ago, 2 months ago, has changed, so I'll dive into that a little bit. Are the Raiders targeting Terrion Arnold, the cornerback out of Alabama? People, I think it's going to happen. Then, top 10 free agents that the Raiders should go out and potentially sign, and I have a updated list, and I'm going to be ranking these from 10, working my way down to 1. Here's my question. Would you trade 3 first-round picks to move up for Jaden Daniels, type T for trade, type P for pass? One of the trades that we are going to look at, so spoiler alert, because based on some of the things that we've heard here at Chat Sports, I know that this might sound crazy, and that's kind of what I was saying before, but if you wanted to trade up to pick number 4 and get Jaden, I do think it could end up costing you 3 first-round picks. So you trade 2024, you trade 2025, and then you trade your 2026 first-round pick. Would you do it to go get the Heisman Trophy winner, or is there another quarterback that you have in mind that you're like, you know what, that guy to me is worth 3 first-round picks? We got 500 people here in the building, and I appreciate all of y'all for taking time out of your day to watch this stream. I know that, like, today for me personally, and I think for all sports fans around the world, is probably one of the best days in sports, being able to watch college basketball, which I don't watch a lot of college basketball during the season. But this type of tournament, win or go home.
This is March, baby!
It is electric. What up, Jeremy Chuggs? I'm seeing a lot of T's here. I see Queen, Timon.
I mean, between March Madness and our March Madness, I'm jazzed.
Dude, I can't wait.
Call me Utah because I'm all jazzed up.
That's not where I thought that was going. What up, King Higgins? I see Captain Rex says, yes, Sam, yes.
Maybe Utah isn't the best example with BYU going down earlier.
True.
A lot of soda pops going to be drinking today at BYU.
However, though, I did take Duquesne, so.
Same here.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Hey, if you're not taking upsets in March, you're a loser.
Yeah, I mean, come on. There's certain games where it's like everything tells me that this is the team that's going to win, and because of that, I'm going to go the other way.
Yeah. We actually have a really good game about to come up, South Carolina and Oregon. Who did you take in that? Do you remember?
I took Oregon.
I took South Carolina.
Ooh.
I went against the grain on that, because this was a weird one where South Carolina was 6 and Oregon 11, and I think a lot more people were taking Oregon than South Carolina. So I went against the grain on that.
Matthew Yoakum has a comment for you.
Shit happens when you party naked.
I'm guessing that was directed towards Chuggs. To my knowledge, I've never partied naked. I do got a super chat coming up here from Garrett. What up, Garrett?
I like how you said to your knowledge.
To my knowledge. I don't know. To my knowledge, I do not know. It says, what are your thoughts on Jordan Travis? And you probably have heard the news. The Raiders have a top 30 visit with the Florida State quarterback that is scheduled. I put out a video on Instagram and on Twitter about what are my general thoughts on the QB, and I think for people that watch the show a lot know that I'm not crazy about Travis. Like, to me, the best thing that he had was his mobility in college. Like, he's still an okay passer. I am worried of what that knee injury is going to potentially do to his ability to move. I also think Jordan Travis kind of reminds me of J.J. McCarthy in the idea of he just was on a team that didn't really ask him to do a lot, was a game manager in college, didn't turn over the football a whole ton, and really relied on his defense. The thing that
Yeah.
scares me the most, though, with Travis is I don't think that he's good at reading defenses. And that scares me a lot. I don't think it's like the pre-snap. I think that's going to overwhelm him. He doesn't have a crazy talented arm. I've said before, like, if he turns out and if he can pan out to be a QB, kind of like a Jacoby Brissett, I think that would be a good career path for him. I've been wrong before. I've been right before. We'll see what ends up happening, though, around Jordan Travis. Let's go to Adrian. What up, Adrian? What would you think of this? And personally, sometimes these are my favorite questions when you guys give me trades, just because I give you trades all the flipping time, and I'm like, hey, give me your 2 cents on this. So I appreciate when you guys do send me these. If the Raiders are already at 4 come draft day, they trade for number 2 with 2025 and 2026 first. My question to you is, though, how do you get to 4
that's
and
the only
still
problem.
have all those picks?
Yeah, that's the problem. If you're already at 4, you're not going to have those future picks to then move up to 2.
If you're at pick 4, I'm telling you already, you are at minimum
2
giving up
first-round.
2 first-round picks. And that's minimum. Like, if you want to try to go get whoever it is.
Unless you're trading a guy that rhymes with Mamonte Madams.
I mean, I'll tell you this. I think even if, like, based on prices right now, like somebody I saw today was hit me up on IG and Twitter. You guys can too, at Mitchell Renz 365. And they were like, yo, I want to go up and get Caleb Williams, and I would do anything for it to happen. I'm not even kidding you. I actually think if you were the Raiders and if you wanted to go up and get Caleb, which I would not do, by the way, I actually think that it's not even draft picks. You'd probably have to throw in players like Devontae and maybe even Max.
And I don't even
just
think
because of how high the price tag is. It's different this year.
And I think the Bears are now all in on Caleb Williams with selling off
Keenan Allen's at his pro day.
Well, also,
Today, DJ
trading away Justin Fields for a washing machine and a bag of chips.
Yep, I'll see you later.
I think if you honestly offered them all your picks this year and next year, they still say no.
I mean, today on the radio, DJ Moore was asked about the Bears' next quarterback and what they need to do. DJ Moore literally said Caleb Williams. When he started talking about the QB, he's like, yeah, I hope Caleb comes in here, and the Bears are already preparing to take Caleb Williams. It's happening. What up, Mario? Mitch, thoughts on rumors about Russell Wilson cut? This is hilarious to me. We were actually just talking about it, I want to say yesterday here at the Chat Sports
No, it was
Studio.
this morning.
Well, Sperry and I were talking about it yesterday.
Wow.
You brought it up again this morning. There's no rumors around Russell Wilson getting cut. All it is Adam Schefter simply stating the truth, which was if Russell plays bad in the May, June, and July, and Justin Fields looks good, they can cut him because, again, he's only making $1.21 million. You could wipe your hands clean and then move on. That's the report is if he plays bad, he could get cut, which at any player in the NFL, if you're making $1.21 million and you don't play well, you can get cut.
Yeah.
And that's the story there. Adrian, true, I didn't think of that. My bad. It's all good. You don't have to apologize.
I just switched out of the Chrome. I need the lights. It was making me look ghostly.
Bro, you look dead.
Yeah.
You legitimately, you look dead.
I looked like Jack in December.
You look like Smitty watching the Bonnies play. Dead. Adrian, much love to you. We got 619 people tuned in right now.
And I do have another question for the folks at home. Be real with me. What is your confidence level in Thayer Munford being the right tackle for the Raiders this next season? Scale it from 1 to 10. 10, you think he's going to be an all-pro right tackle. 1, you have no confidence at all. You think he's the worst right tackle in the league.
Yeah, I had the opportunity last night. I was talking with Thayer, and he's very excited about his upcoming opportunity to play with the Raiders, and he fully expects that he's going to be the starting right tackle for the Silver and Black. He told me that he does not want to, or not that he doesn't want to play offensive guard, but he's going to be playing tackle, and that he would be open to the idea of playing tackle both right and on the left side, which has been some things that we've kind of thrown out there before. But to me, this question is very, very important on a lot of different levels, and I'll kind of break down why this question's on today's show, because to me, this impacts your draft.
Yeah.
This really impacts what the Raiders do in free agency and what they end up doing in the 2024 NFL Draft, specifically at pick number 13. And if Telesco and Antonio Pierce are, 5 and below, I think your draft strategy changes. If you are, we'll say 6 and above. 6 and above. If you are 6 and above, then I do think that your strategy at pick 13 can also change in regards to that. So I'm going to give some shout-outs here to see what we have to say. Williams says 7. 10 from King Shav. I don't know if I'm at a 10, King, but I appreciate it. Diehard Raider fan says 4. He is still young. He is still a young player. And, a few years ago, like when he was first potentially going to come out into the NFL draft, which I want to say was 2021, there were some people, Mel Kiper included, that had him as a round 1 target, like round 1 prospect. Then he got hurt.
I remember that draft. Everybody was saying one of the steals of the draft, Thayer Munford to the Raiders.
Oh, I mean,
how late they got him.
We had him. So the year after, Munford obviously goes in the 7th round. I want to say pick 233. We had him here at Chat Sports as a round 4 or 5 grade. So when you see like that much of a discrepancy. Now, our rankings were also based off of him potentially playing guard.
Yeah.
So if he's also only a tackle, like that can change it a little bit. But I do believe in Thayer. I'm not sitting up here saying I'm confident. Like, would I rather have Jermaine Illuminor than Thayer Munford? Yes. Yes, I would. But if you want to talk about upside, and Munford was one of those players to me that kind of reminded me of Zamir White, and sometimes this can happen, and I'm sure it can happen in y'all's lives as well. When you start to do something more, which playing in the NFL is not that easy, but the more reps Munford started to get, the better and better he got. The more reps Zamir White got, the better and better that he got. The more live shows I do, I like to think that the better and better I get. The more shows you produce, the better and better you get.
I mean, in theory.
The more super chats you send in, the crazier and crazier it gets.
That is a fact.
What up, 93 Nabman? I was actually just talking about Nabman the other day, and
he's been going wild on our chats.
He's been kind of getting a little bit rowdy. My boss was like, yo, who's this 93 Navman guy? And I'm like, this guy's a sneaky, sneaky guy. Navman, I hope you're around for the season because we get pretty wild here and for the NFL draft. Seems all thirsty for another bust and lost picks. I'm hoping that we don't have another bust in the first round. I'm hoping that the Raiders just do what they need to do that helps them think that they can do the ultimate goal, which is to win a Super Bowl. Like for me, the reason why I am okay giving up all the draft capital in the world is because at the end of the day, to me, if I believe a franchise quarterback, which I do, is Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, or Drake May. And I don't use the franchise QB term lightly. When I think of a franchise quarterback, and if I'm confident enough that one of those guys are it, I'm willing to give up the land, food, water, I mean, whatever you got to do, just ship it out. Let's go get ourselves a franchise quarterback. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have one, it's not easy to go out and win a title. All right, my question is, are you watching March Madness? Give me a yes. Give me a no. Obviously, a bunch of y'all are tuned into this show right now, but full transparency, I got a TV. Chuggs and I, we're watching South Carolina, Oregon go down right now. And to my knowledge, I still have a perfect bracket 3 games in. So 3 games in, from my knowledge, I'm still perfect. I believe I have Illinois. I know I took UNC, and I took Oregon.
Maybe a weird question. Do you know how many brackets you filled out?
Yes. So I did one for our Raiders Report March Madness bracket with everybody that entered our duck race, and shout out to the 20, 30-something people that ended up entering into that. I did one for my family league, which my family, we've done a March Madness bracket since 2006 when we started doing our fantasy football. We also started March Madness. So I've won twice since 2006, which big money. And then I did one here at Chat Sports. What about you? How many did you do?
I did 3.
3?
I did 3.
3 also.
And I'm perfect on one of them.
Okay.
I'm perfect on one of them, but I don't think that...
Do you do the same? Obviously not. I was going to say, do you do the same bracket in every one?
No. One of them I'm 100%.
I was going to say, I usually like to mix it up. Like I told you, McNeese is one of my sleeper teams.
Yeah.
Even though we're not even convinced that they played real colleges, which we found out this morning. But I have them in Elite 8 in one bracket, and then in another bracket, I have Gonzaga in the Elite 8. So sometimes I'll do stuff like that. All right, for those of you that do not know, our March Madness brackets here for the Raiders Report is going down today. And Chuggs, what I wanted to do is, if we could, I want to roll through all like the first round matchup. So the way that we're going to do this today is we're going to go by the Las Vegas region. So essentially what I did was everybody that sent in a $50 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365, don't send any in anymore. We are all locked in. We're closed up. We're not doing any more. But it was the first 64 people that Venmo'd me at Mitchell Renz 365. What we ended up doing is I put together a March Madness bracket. Winner of this entire thing is going to win $1,600. So what you see here is, first off, if you don't see your picture from YouTube and you want me to add it, comment what your name is up on screen, because I know some of y'all, it's not as easy to find considering the fact that your YouTube name isn't the same as your Venmo name. I'm going off Venmo names only. So essentially, yeah, that's the one that I want. So we have the Las Vegas region, which we're going to complete today, and we're going to do some more tomorrow on top of that. My game plan is to do 16 duck races today, 16 duck races tomorrow. So here's Las Vegas. We got the number 1 seed, David Zahn, going up against Adam White. And here's the thing, man, like these are going to be totally random duck races. Savannah Jean against Jake Romero in the 8 and 9. Joshua Melton against John Avizino at 12. Nathan Wolf with 2 Fs at 4. Up against Julian Rod at number 13. Then let's go to the 6 to 11 battle. We got Jason E.B. He's going to be up against Stephen Pierce. Matt Fluhey, the 3 seed, up against Luis Avina. Aaron Winnick, which I realized I accidentally put an extra K in there. He's the 7 seed up against Amy. Then Ira Jackson, the 2 seed, going up against Gabriel Ordaz. Let's now go to the Los Angeles region here. Trivan up against Paul Ruiz, which is an intriguing matchup to me. Ray Aguirre, Jose Corona, Rob Fravor, Noah Santana, and then Scott Eckert, Steven Huerta. This also is a really interesting matchup when you go to the next one, which is Ryan Campbell, Justin Gilbert. Watch out for Mo Chavez, Andres Montano. Gary Chai, I realize that the one says Boise, Colorado, so we got to figure out who's supposed to be in that spot. I don't know. Somebody's got to be there. We're missing a name. Cameron Abbott, I'm rocking his jersey. Richie Cruz at number 15. What? I don't. Brett made it. So I would say tell Brett to update Gary Chai because they're not playing Boise or Colorado. I can promise you that. Nope, I don't think that one's going to happen. I don't think that one's going to happen. Oh, man. We also have the next region, which we'll get to here in a second, is the Oakland region. Patrick B. up against Matthew Lozano. Randall Carter up against the Finesse Lounge. Misty Williamson against Troy Williams. And then Adriano Martinez is going to be going up against Mike Van Leuven. I am being told that we did just get the update from Brett. I think he just gave me the thumbs up. Yep, he gave me the thumbs up. Let's go back to the previous bracket. Los Angeles. Gary Chai. Oh, it's against my dad. That's funny enough. Gary, good luck to you, man. Hope you take him down. Let's go back now to the Oakland region, which, again, we were kind of going through here. And I already see a few people saying, hey, can you put my name up there, which we will be able to. Big Luck says, number 13, can you use my pick for Steven? You just got to tell me what branch or which region that one is in. Big Luck. Then let's keep it rolling here. Jose Delgado going up against Rodolfo Kemp. Nico Laz, I thought was a good matchup against Dees. Miggy against Anthony, the Crash Dog, Robert Price. And then this was the region that, I'll be honest, if you don't know why, it's the Brockton region. Al Davis, this is where he was born. Scheffler, the number 1 seed here, going up against Trevor Rebello. Isaac Hernandez against Lori. Sancho against Sean Johnson. My man PG 2869 is going to be going up against Michael Gomez. James Guevara against Martin. Matthew Yoakum, Gabriel Figueroa, Alfredo Ramirez, Yoda Jenkins, and then Rebel Montana against No Garcia. So that is our 64 people in our March Madness duck race here on the Raider Sport. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do 4 races right now. Then we're going to get into, let's do the Terrion Arnold story. And then we'll get into the top 10 free agents. And then we'll get into the Arizona Cardinals potentially trading back. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 races, do a show, 4 races, do a show, 4 races, do a show, 4 races, and get the hell out of here. Does that sound good to everybody? And if you see your name where, like, there's not a picture or anything there, and you're like, dude, I want my pick. Here's my YouTube name. Comment your name and what you want, obviously, like your picture, like I saw Big Luck do, and then we can do that. All right, so the first duck race, which I will also say, you don't have, I mean, if you want to, you can. What we're going to do here is we're also going to do completely different duck races throughout the entirety of this. Like, I'm not just going to do, I don't know, 64 duck races. I don't even know how many it would be. It'd be a shit ton. We're gonna mix it up every single time. I think we should just do new ones. Or would you guys do like certain regions duck races? Or I think it's better if it's just random. I think that makes it more fun. We're just going to do random. Why 24 seconds? That's my question. I mean, I don't know. 24 seconds? 24 seconds. You guys okay with that? Hopefully. I think as the rounds go on, maybe we'll increase the length here a little bit longer. 30 for shot clock? Okay, that makes sense. 30. So the college shot clock is 30. Yeah, I was trying to figure that out while I was watching. I was like, there's also 24? 30. Okay, I like it. All right, round one, we got the 16 seed David Zahn. What are they? 1 seed David Zahn going up against the 16 seed Adam White. Good luck to everybody that's competing. We got 4 races in the first one coming up right now. Here we go. This is a big one. I mean, this is March Madness. You got to think that Zahn might have a little bit of the butterflies going on, considering he is the number 1 seed, but Adam White is bouncing along very close next to him. Again, winner advances to the round of 32. Loser, unfortunately, you are going to be sent home. Adam White right now is on. I mean, this is a 1-point game. I think White's going to pull it out. Oh, it's a big upset. And no, Zahn says, I'm the number 1 seed. For a reason, Mr. Zahn is going to advance to the round of 32. So Zahn gets the dub. The number 1 seed advances. And we continue to keep this thing a rocking and a rolling, which means Zahn is going to be playing the winner between Savannah and Jake Romero. Winner of this one, Zahn, I wish you were here right now. Oh, wait, he is. What up, Zahn? Who do you want to play? Savannah or Jake? Who would you be more confident about, Zahn? Shout out to Zahn for getting the first dub. And I know some people are probably wondering, what the hell are we doing? We've been advertising this for probably a good 2 weeks at this point now. We had a bunch of people send in money. Winner's going to win $1,600. And we're going to do 1-on-V1 duck races to figure out our Raiders Report March Madness tournament win. Once we do 4 races, then we'll get into some Raiders content, so don't worry. To the 600 people here, how we doing so far? A, B, C, D, or F? I want you to grade what you think of our Raiders Report March Madness rally. Here we go. Savannah, the 8 seed, up against Jake Romero. I have no idea what this is, by the way.
I mean, it's obviously a hot dog and a snowman.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. I thought that Savannah had a beak, but it's the shoes. Here we go. 8 against 9. Winner plays David Zahn. 3, 2, 1. And out to an early jump here. Jake Romero gets the ball. Got an early lead probably after the first quarter, and it's probably a good double-digit lead right now. Savannah's really struggling here at halftime. They're down by a lot of points, but you know what? I think Savannah's a really solid second-half team. We're entering now the fourth quarter here. This one's getting a lot closer. Romero running out of steam. Are they going to have enough to come back? It looks like they are. Jake Romero with the win, advancing up against David Zahn. Up against Mr. David Zahn. I've had a few people reach out to me on Venmo. If you're having problems with Super Chat, which it does seem to be an issue today, you can Venmo me at Mitchell Renz 365, considering the fact that I've already had 3 people tell me that they're having problems with it. So if you want to send something in, you can. Some people have been okay. Other people maybe not so much. What up, Scheffler? What up, John? I'll get into the Super Chats here in just a second, but I do want to continue to move on here and show you guys how the regions are looking. I just want to make sure the title's right. If you're wondering about the South Carolina and Oregon game, It's tied at 13. So based on where we are at right now, this is the Las Vegas region. David Zahn advances. Jake Romero also advances. So next race is going to be between Josh and John. Then it's going to be Nathan Wolf and Julian Rodriguez. After that, then we're going to get into some actual Raiders content. But don't worry, we got a lot more. What? We got a lot more of duck races coming up here on today's show. What do you got for me, Chuggs? I see a lot of... You're messing around with some new graphics here. New graphics package. We built this one specifically for March Madness, and we built this one specifically for the nation. So here's the next races that are going to be going down. Melton against Avazino, which hopefully I pronounced right. And I see John Rodriguez right now is saying Mitch Robledo is pronounced Robledo. Robledo. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it right. I hate to break it to you. I will do my best. My problem is once I say something in my mind, it's really locked into that. It's not easy for me to get it out. Robledo. It's kind of like Play-Doh. That's how I'm going to have to remember it. Robledo. Robledo. If that's what I have to do, it's what I got to do. I'm one of those people when I spell beautiful, and raise your hand if you're with me, I still got to spell it B-E-A, beautiful. Can't do it any other way. Or banana. I got to sing like, what's her name? Gwen? B-A-N-A-N-A-S. All right, let's go now to the 12 up against the 5 seed. Joshua Melton going to be taking on John Abazino. 30 seconds on the clock. You ready? You guys ready? All right, let's run it. Here we go. 5 against 12. Usually when I do my real March Madness bracket, this is one of those spots that I like to take a few 12 seeds. I usually take a few 11s. I take a few 12s, and so on and so forth. I'll tell you this, though. We got 2 non-carnivore dinosaurs. What are the non-herbivores? I think that's the name. Josh Melton. We're entering the 4th quarter. However, this has been very close. Is Avazino going to have enough? No! Melton with the win. That's what's up. That is what's up, man. Holy crap. Graf just tweeted, the Raiders are signing Lizzo. I'm not going to lie. It popped up on my screen, and I was kind of taken back by it. I was like, who the hell did they actually get? Who the heck did they actually get? Congratulations to Joshua Melton. It was a big-time dub. And if anybody's wondering how we did the seeding, full transparency, I based it on people who got in the race first, / people that, I don't know, do a lot of the duck races with us, / names that I recognize from people who comment, from people who are obviously subscribed. Everyone that's doing this is subscribed. But just names that I recognize, and that's how I ranked it. So if you don't like your ranking, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Patrick B said, when is my race? Your race, Patrick, is going to be tomorrow, if my memory serves me correct. I believe yours is going to be tomorrow. All right, here we go. 4 against 13. We got a Dolphin race going. You ready? Let's keep it rolling here. 3, 2, 1. Let's let it roll. Nathan Wolf and Rod. I'll tell you what, these are the slowest Dolphins I have ever seen. I always say that Dolphins are the mammal that you know what's the most. I see why. That's all they're doing right now. They're just humping along. At halftime, the Wolfman got a little bit of a lead. However, I know how these duck races work. I know that everyone is a little bit different. Is Nathan going to be able to keep the lead with 4 seconds to go? Julian Rodriguez probably gets the dub, and he's celebrating. Wow. Honestly, that's a little showboaty. I'm into it, though. Julian Rod with the dub. With the dub to Julian. All right, y'all. So here is the updated look at our Las Vegas region here. David Zahn was able to get a win over Jake Romero. And then Josh Melton ended up getting a win over Julian Rod. So that means as it stands right now, we will probably do these sometime next week. Zahn and Romero, they'll advance. And then Melton and Julian Rod, they will advance as well. I don't know. I put some money on Zahn because he was the #1 overall seed. But then again, it is March, so you never know. All right, the next races that we're going to do after our next segment here on the Raiders Report are going to be the following. So we're going to have Jason E.B. up against Stephen Pierce. Then we got Matt Fluey against Louis Avina. Aaron Winnick up against Amy. Ira Jackson going to be going up against Gabriel here in the race. Michael Gomez said, I got a lower rating because my boy and I beat you at beer pong. Honestly, if anything, I feel like I should have given you a higher rating. I feel like I should have given you a higher rating. We're gonna do 4 at a time, and then it's just an easy way to kind of divvy up some of the content that we have here today. So, coming up next here on the show, I want to talk about the Raiders and their visit yesterday with Terrion Arnold, Alabama corner, and why I'm starting to think like there's a more and more possibility that the Silver and Black end up targeting Arnold at pick number 13 in the 2024 NFL Draft. What do you got for me? I know, but I guess I almost thought of it as like if something happened, we could just like tack it on at the end of the other one. So that was kind of my mindset. So I want to go Arnold, let's go free agents, and then we'll get into the news and rumors before we get out of here. That was kind of the way that I thought of this one. South Carolina just pulled up for 3 and hit a big one. 17-14, Cox. Cox over the Ducks. Okay, you guys ready to talk a little Raiders? What do you think? Ready to talk a little Raiders here? Would you guys pick Terrion Arnold at pick number 13 if he's on the board, okay? He's on the board based on what we know right now. Would you take him? Type D for draft, type P for pass. Yep, I know. Let me know down below what you guys have to say. Should the Las Vegas Raiders draft Alabama cornerback Terrion Arnold at pick 13? I want every person that comes across this video to be honest. Let me know what you chest. Type D for draft, or would you pass on him? Type P for pass. My answer coming up here in a little bit. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and Raiders rumors are heating up around the Las Vegas Raiders potentially drafting Terrion Arnold at pick number 13 in the 2024 NFL Draft. And coming up here on today's show, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to tell you why that this rumors is starting to pick up some speed, because at the end of the day, I like to make timelines. I like to see what has happened and then put my own puzzle together. And by the end of this show, I think you're going to be sitting here going, yeah, there's a realistic shot that this is the direction the Silver and Black go. So why am I so confident that the Raiders are definitely targeting Arnold? They could potentially draft him. Well, first off, AP went to his pro day. And the reason why that I do find that to be significant of some sorts is because there's a certain reason why certain teams decided to go to certain pro days, right? Like the fact that Caleb Williams in his pro day was one spot, and then the fact that Antonio Pierce decided, I'm going to go scout a lot of Alabama prospects. And there's no chance that the Raiders are going to get Caleb. At this point, you might as well already put a Chicago Bears jersey on him. But, like, the fact that AP took time to go find Terrion Arnold. Also, I heard Kool-Aid looked really solid. I heard J.C. Latham looked pretty damn good, too. But when you see AP talking to Terrion Arnold at his pro day, I don't know about you, it does excite me here at least a little bit. Let's go to the next reason here why I believe that it could potentially happen. AP said that finding a legit cornerback one is a priority. And I agree with him. When you look at the Raiders defense from top to bottom, I love what we have on our defensive line right now. I've said multiple times, I think it's one of the best units in the NFL. Linebacker is still a little bit of a question mark, but like, let's be real. You're not going to spend a lot of money. You're not going to draft a linebacker this early. Then on top of that, both your safety spots, cool. Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, love it. To take that defense to the next level, if you're able to add a legit cornerback one, and maybe that guy is Arnold here, who had a stellar season for the Crimson Tide last season with 63 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 12 pass breakups, this would be a really, really solid get. And if it is a priority, could you potentially get him here at pick number 13? One of my favorite in the business is Lance Zerloin, and this is what he had to say on Terrion Arnold. Twitchy man cover corner, outstanding athletic ability, and the skill set to bring in ball production at the professional level. Arnold possesses average size, but plays with a desired level of aggression and competitiveness in both phases of his job. He's fast and agile to match up against a variety of receiver flavors on the outside or in the slot. Arnold could squeeze routes tighter from off coverages and limit the yards after catch with a slightly different approach. His closing burst allows him to meet throws at the catch point with a natural feel for playing angles and attacking the receiver's hands. Arnold will make mistakes with positioning and lose focus at times, but the athletic traits and nose for the ball create quality upside for him to be positioned as a cornerback 1 with a couple of years. So the way that I look at that is, to me, Antonio Pierce, Patrick Graham, I believe in those guys through and through. And if there's one set of coaches that I think could really get the most out of a player that sometimes lacks awareness or, you got to be in it 110%, is a coach that last season had 2 games where his team did not commit a single penalty. Like, that is the level of you're locked in to a whole nother level. And if Terrion Arnold combines his athletic ability with the coaching staff of AP, with the coaching staff of Patrick Graham, I think sky's the limit for this young man right here. I know this also, we will be live for the NFL Draft, so make sure that you guys are subscribed here to the Raiders Report. We're going to be getting picks before you see them on TV, and hopefully, I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm not jinxing. I'm really going to try not to jinx it. I have been waiting to celebrate a first-round pick in a long time on this show, and I am hoping that it ends up happening this year. If you also are looking for just daily Raiders content, I got you covered. And if you want to know everything going on around the NFL Draft and everything going on around the Raiders and their draft strategies, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. I promise you, we got you covered here on the Raiders Report. All right, let's keep it moving here on the show. We're discussing Terrion Arnold and the possibility of the Raiders potentially taking him at pick number 13 overall. Another reason is the Raiders met with him at the Combine, and the meeting at the Combine went really well. And when you consider the fact of what types of players Antonio Pierce is potentially looking for, I think Arnold checks that box. Our team went to the Combine, and we got this interview here from the Alabama corner.
Have I had a chance to meet who? Yes, sir. He's a guy full of energy, man. When I walked in the room, he was like, "Are you an energetic person?" I was like, "You know I am, man. Cut on the tape." He was like, "Man, I like you already." So, I mean, it went very well.
I like confidence. I like swagger. And to me, this is a football team that looks for all those traits, on top of the fact that it's a need, on top of the fact that he just gives me Raider vibes. And when you give me Raider vibes right away, I feel like my vibe Raider, right? Those are the type of players that this team is trying to bring in here. And per sources, Antonio Pierce really likes Terrion Arnold. And I'm not even trying to flex. Like, this is more of a, if you don't already know that Antonio Pierce is interested in Terrion Arnold, then you have not been paying attention. However, over the past 24 hours, somebody reached out to me and said, "I'm telling you right now, this is somebody that you have to keep in mind," hence why I'm making the video on it. Next reason here is this. He is a great fit with Patrick Graham and Antonio Pierce. Not only does he have that mindset of, that's one of those players like that gives me the Max Crosby vibes. That gives me the mindset of the Jack Jones where, yeah, you can talk the talk, but you better be able to back it up. And I think Arnold's going to be able to do that. On top of that, it is a need. And he's going to be able to fit into our defense. He needs to fit into our defense because Brandon Faison, oh, man, that makes me super nervous. To me, that is your biggest weakness right now on your starting defense. And if you're able to replace that with Arnold, who sounds like everything that I'm looking for in a cornerback. I mean, hell, this is what Arnold had to say at the Combine. When I'm on the field, honestly, on defense, I feel like I could play any position, especially any position in the secondary. So, with that being said, when I line up in the slot, I know I'm kind of like an outside linebacker. I have to feel the run, I have to set the edges, take on blocks, and I have to cover. That mindset for a corner to say those things, I get it, actions speak louder than words. But when you turn on the tape, he does that. And if you're finding a dude that is able to play corner, that has the ability to play up close to the line of scrimmage, and one of the things that Antonio Pierce and this regime has kind of noted that is they want a guy that's not afraid to go up to the line of scrimmage, and then that gives them more versatility on the back end. And if you can fit all of those things, versatility is key in the NFL. It's especially key with Patrick Graham. All right, we got some more reasons here of why I think the rumors are starting to heat up here around the Raiders potentially taking cornerback from Alabama, Terrion Arnold. But if you don't already know, I want y'all to be able to interact with Jeremy Chuggs and I on social media. If you don't know, I am literally at Mitchell Renz 365 everywhere, Instagram, Twitter. Y'all hopefully know where to find me. But you know what? I also want you guys to start interacting with Chuggs as well on social media. He's at Twitter, at Jeremy Chuggs, and then he's on IG at Jeremy_Chuggs. If you can't find him, that's on you. I also have the links for our social media down in the comments and in the description of today's show. Let's go to the last reason here. The Raiders are confident in Thayer Munford. Now, some of you are like, well, wait a minute, Mitch. We just took a total left turn. Where are we at right now? Hear me out. What the Raiders think about Thayer Munford, to me personally, is a big reason of what they could potentially do at pick number 13. I spoke with Thayer Munford on Thursday, and he told me that he's going to be playing offensive tackle this season. He said he'd be open to playing left tackle, he'd be open to playing right tackle, but that's basically what he's heard so far. And I have said up here in the show, and I believe that Munford can be a good player. I also think that he could potentially play guard if it was up to me. It's not up to me. But when you think about this, if the Raiders do truly believe that Munford is a starting right tackle in the National Football League, doesn't that make corner a little bit of a bigger need than right tackle? Because they need a cornerback one. They don't need a right tackle. And if the Raiders aren't looking for an offensive tackle at pick 13, then I do think that their attention could turn to the cornerback position a little bit more. Like, when you think about all the rumors that have happened this offseason, consider the fact of how many rumors we've heard at the cornerback position compared to how many rumors we've heard at the offensive tackle spot. If the Raiders are locked in on Munford being the right tackle, I've done a lot of mock drafts myself where I'm taking J.C. Latham, Talisi Fuaga, a guy like Olu Fashanu, Joe Alt. But if the Raiders don't ever think that that's a need and corner is a bigger need, then maybe they're not even going to look at the offensive tackle position, which that to me says better chance of taking Terrion Arnold. So be real with me here. I want to know, scale it from 1 to 10. What is your confidence level in Thayer Munford? Be legit with me. To me, if you're saying 1 to 5 in that area, then if you have a top offensive tackle on the board at 13, you should probably take him. If you're in the 6 to 10 range on Munford, I would say then maybe you shouldn't look at it taking an offensive tackle unless there's a guy that you absolutely love, but corner is the bigger need. Personally, for me, my take on Munford and my confidence level on him, based on what I know right now, is I'm going to put it at a 6. And Munford, to me, was one of those players last season that the more and more work that he got better and better. I'll admit, I thought he looked better on the left side than he did on the right side, personally. But this was a player that I liked quite a bit when the Raiders drafted him. We had a round 4 or 5 grade here at Chat Sports, and he did struggle as a rookie. Struggled a little bit as a sophomore on top of that. But the other part that is very, very important to this equation and can really change my confidence level in Munford is what the hell are the Raiders going to do at right guard? Because I know right now it says DJ Fluker. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be Fluker. Like, I'd almost rather you don't even have somebody right there and it can be a mystery box at right guard. And because of that, I have a confidence level in 6. If you're telling me right now that Fluker is going to be the Raiders' starting right guard this upcoming season, my confidence in Munford goes down because that's more responsibility on his plate on the right side. If you were to tell me that Dylan Parham would be the right guard or the Raiders were to sign another guard in free agency, then my confidence level in Munford might go up here a little bit. Bottom line, depending on how confident the Raiders are in Munford, could really determine what they do here at pick number 13. So one more time here, this is why I believe that the Raiders rumors are starting to heat up around why the Silver and Black could potentially target Terrion Arnold, who continues to just skyrocket up draft boards, and these are the 5 reasons. Pierce went to his pro day. They won a cornerback 1. They met at the combine. I think he'd be a great fit with Patrick Graham and Antonio Pierce, and they sounds like that they have a lot of confidence in Thayer Munford. If you were to ask me, Mitch, put your chips on the table. Who do you think is the most likely player that the Raiders pick at number 13? I'm going to say Terrion Arnold. Should the Raiders draft Arnold at pick 13? Type D for draft, type P for pass.
Matthew Yoakum said it best. Only fools don't hit the like button. Only fools. I pity the fool who don't hit the like button.
I pity the fool.
Only real ones know who that is.
Only the real
I
ones.
guarantee you, looking out in the office, Jace, DK, and Chip have no idea who that is. I guarantee you they don't.
No?
I guarantee you they don't know who Pity the Fool.
Pity the fool? There's
DK.
no idea?
I guarantee you no idea. DK.
See, I'm not good with references, and even
You don't know?
Even I know that one.
Chip, do you know who pities the fool?
Do you guys know
You
who
don't
pities
know who
the
pities
fool?
the fool?
Do you guys know who pities the fool? Righteous haircut, by the way.
You don't know who pitied a fool?
Oh my Lord.
Wait, Seeps, do you know? Do you know who pities the fool? Yeah, who says that? I pity the fool.
Seeps is at least thinking about it.
The wheels are turning.
I see Latoya's got the right answers. The Lesbo,
Huh?
Caesar, Rob, Judo, Sean.
Wow. We work with a bunch of high schoolers. They don't know who pities the fool.
That's unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. Couldn't be me, I'll tell you that.
I pity the fool who don't know who pities the fool.
Couldn't be me.
Rebel Montana, perfect bracket, BYU 8 corn the long way. Love that. And Rebel also has been saying he's dual boxing us right now with the Chat Sports stream.
Oh.
He said he's dual boxing.
Dual box for Rebel. I'll say this, Rebel. We talk about your setup pretty frequently here in the studios. Rebels, which I love his setup that he has because he literally has it where it's like TV, laptop to type. He's got his drinking stuff on one side, and he's just got like everything ready to go. Shit, the other day he literally raced Marshall in a boot race. Like, that's a whole nother level of commitment. Rebel, thanks for being a real one. I think we're going to have the mustache as QB1 battling AOC and one of the second-tier quarterbacks, just my feeling. Still hope for a move up into the top 3. Yeah, I don't think a move up into the top 3 is going to happen. I think at this point, based on reports that have come out, a move up to pick number 4, which we'll kind of get into here in a little bit on today's show, is the more likely scenario of it end up going down. I'll also say, and you know, I've said like I'd be willing to give up everything to go get your guy, but like if it legitimately costs you, which hear me out, and this might sound crazy, but just based off how high these price tags are going for the top picks, I mean, what if it costs you 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and if it was like Devontae Adams? You know, like that's where it's like, holy shit, like I don't really want to put my quarterback in a bad spot. Like where before I was like, you know, if I'll pay whatever. I'm actually surprised how expensive the top picks are right now.
Yeah.
I am very surprised. And also something I'm not surprised by, Cameron Abbott Bay! Mr. Cameron Abbott.
Ow!
Ow, ow, ow!
So, you are wearing the jersey.
Because Abbott was an MVP, I didn't plan on drinking today, and I didn't say it at the beginning, so that's on me. I will do 1 boot, and 1 boot only.
Now we're at the end of the show.
Cameron, I'll let you pick. Do you want me to do it now, or do you want me to do it at the end of the show? Shout out to Lord Cameron Abbott, and also, Cameron, your other jersey came in on top of that. So I got an Abbott, and then I got a Cam Abbott jersey. I mixed it up a little bit for you, but they finally just came in. I've been waiting on some jerseys, and they didn't have any more Black Raider jerseys, so I had to get a bunch of white ones. So you guys are going to start seeing some little different jerseys here and there.
John, Mitch, Robledo is pronounced Robledo.
Robledo. Like Play-Doh.
Yeah, you were saying Robledo.
Yeah, again, I'm hoping I can get it right.
Robert Price equals 93 nav man.
So can you update that picture with Rob Price? Is that how that works or no?
Not right now.
Not right
Yeah,
now?
the fact that we have everything ready to go, one, it's because of our awesome boss, Brett Scott, who got it all ready for us yesterday. But two, also, it's a small miracle that we got it all ready with all of our graphics and got everything at least correct, besides Boise and Colorado.
All right, well, I'll try to do my best here to like save them the way that I just did to you, or I'll just try to do it that way.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be the easiest way. If you see that your picture is up, there's Yoda Jenkins, which I was actually looking for him earlier. Yoda Jenkins, because I knew some of y'all's like names and stuff, but I didn't know exactly what your pictures were, so it was a little bit difficult for me to find.
Adrian.
Breaking Raiders signing former Paul Crew, 3-year, $35 million, 15.5 guaranteed.
You know the movie?
I mean, if you didn't know Pity the Fool, and then you also don't know this, I don't say this often, unsubscribe. You should absolutely unsubscribe. Don't like the video, and absolutely do not comment. But
John Rodriguez knows.
Mean Machine, Mr. T.
It's Mr. T. I pitied a fool.
What's that movie? He's in a bunch of movies.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of movies.
I think of him in the A-Team.
Yeah.
Okay. The A-Team.
Ultra VAB.
Oh, all right. A-Team, Mr. T. Shout out to Ultra VAB, man. Much love to you.
Chance-tastic.
Raiders should make trade packages for the Cardinals' 4th overall pick.
Oh, you're going to love our show coming up.
They are open to trading back. Would be great opportunity to go get our QB. But if Arizona doesn't like our offer, then go for Arnold. Well, Chance, I'll get into this a little bit more because literally what you have to say is like exactly, and I mean it's exactly the show that we did. So I'll show you what trade ideas that I have, and based off some of the things that I've heard over the past, we'll call it 24 hours of how much I think it could cost. Mm-hmm. That Oregon player almost airballed that free throw. That hit the bottom of the front of the
John
rim.
Rodriguez, Mitch, if Fuaga is no longer on the board, then you go with either Arnold or Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo.
I think both of those options are phenomenal. I'll also tell you that the Raiders do like J.C. Latham a lot, which shouldn't surprise anybody. I mean, he is a hell of a right tackle prospect. He might have higher upside than Talisi, though I do think Talisi might be ready to go sooner, and he's just Talisi's just a nasty player. Like, he just plays with so much aggression. He tries to beat the shit out of people, and I always wonder how players like that transition to the NFL because there's a certain level of confidence and swagger that does get tied into it when you're just, think about it, you're a high school player, you've dominated your entire career. You go to college, you've dominated your entire career. But what happens if you're not the big bad guy on the block anymore?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I feel like that's why offensive linemen do struggle at the next level.
Michael, how about go ahead.
You got it. How about the quarterback from Florida State, Jordan Travis? So the Raiders are going to be having a top 30 visit with him. If you want more in-depth on this, I put out a video on Instagram and on Twitter, and also it's one of our Raiders shorts that I put out on what I think of what type of quarterback Jordan Travis is. Ultimately, my NFL comp for him is, which, to be honest, it's not the best comp that I have. I actually think if you were to merge together a Hendon Hooker and Jacoby Brissett would maybe be the comparison that I would throw out there right now. But I'd say I don't know what he's going to look like after his knee injury. So, that scares me. But the arm talent I don't love, and I don't think he's great at processing information at the quarterback position.
Nazi.
Draft Arnold at 13. Trade backup late first-round pick for Murphy. Take a chance on Jordan Travis in the 5th round. See, the only reason why I don't love your idea here of Murphy is because the Raiders, which it sounds crazy to me, the position that I might be the most confident in right now might be their defensive tackle room. Like, if you would have told me that those words would have just came out of my mouth.
I would say edge.
You think edge?
I mean, you have top 3 player in the league at that position.
Yes, you have Crosby. So let's say Crosby, Wilkins. Advantage goes to Crosby. Mm-hmm. All right, Kuntz probably would be the next one. I guess it depends where you consider Tyree playing.
Yeah.
Like, I think Tyree Wilson, Adam Butler, John Jenkins is low-key a very good move. I mean, he had 61 tackles at defensive tackle last season. Like, that's a really, really solid number. I'm not going to trade back up into the first because, in all honesty, if you got to trade back up into the first from pick 44, I don't think it would cost you a first-round pick, but it would probably cost you a second-round pick in next year's draft, and I'm not willing to do that.
Should play the Stone Cold Steve Austin glass break when a bang happens.
See, the only unfortunate part of that is we don't own the rights to that music, and if I were to play that music, there's a chance that our YouTube stream would get shut down.
We can record us breaking glass and use that sound.
I mean, there was one time on a show, I literally did a deal of every time somebody sent in, I think it was a 200. It was every time somebody sent in a 200, I would take 2 beers, smash them together, and then pour them over my face. I don't know if we had any takers that day. I actually don't remember that stream all that well, so that makes me think that we didn't. But we've done a deal like that before.
Thanks, Nav, man. Sounds good, Mitch. CB and OT, the first 2 picks.
Thanks, Nav, man. CB and offensive tackle. See, I don't think offensive tackle is going to happen. The more and more I'm starting to wonder, I actually think that they're going to go. I think they're going to target a linebacker at 44, which might surprise some people for me to say that. It's just, I legitimately think that that's where they could potentially go.
All
or
right.
quarterback.
We got to get into our March Madness so we can finish up the Las Vegas region first round. Here we go. Jason E.B. taking on Stephen Pierce, and then Matt Fluhey taking on Luis Avina.
Lord Cameron Abbott. I like Cam Abbott. Thanks for switching it up. Do you want me to do that, Boo? I'll probably just do it at the end, Cameron. Is that all right with y'all? If I just do it at the end? Or, Cam, just let me know, man. Let me know. All right, so we got Jason E.B. up against Stephen Pierce. So, E.B., if you're in the chat right now, because I know you watch the show all the time, I know I get all your, you're always in for a duck race. If you're like, hey, that's me, and you want your picture up on screen, I can add it up on screen. Same with Stephen, same with Lewis. So if you guys see your name.
Well, let's see who wins first.
True.
We might not need it.
I mean, I think, though, it'd be cool at the very, very end to have everybody's picture and kind of try to figure out a way to get a screenshot. I think that'd be sick. I think that'd be pretty dope. All right, here we go. We got the 11th seed up against EB at the 6th seed. You ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's get this one going. If you're wondering what the hell am I watching, March Madness is going on here for actual college basketball, so I wanted to do the exact same thing with a duck race. So that's what you're seeing here on today's show. Winner of this entire tournament wins $1,600. Pierce got a little bit of a lead, but I'm telling you right now, EB, you got to watch out for him. He's a fourth quarter type of guy. 5 seconds to go. Oh, we're going to have a comeback. Hail court. Oh, he got it. Half court. Hail Mary. In the words of Chat Sports, onions. With the win, Jason E.B. Oh, I am very clear on that, but that's all I hear anymore. Jason E.B. with the dub. What's kind of crazy about this tournament so far is I feel like it's the only one where I was like, if a 16 seed beats a 1 seed, but we've seen that happen before. Twice. Oh, that's right. One of the times I had one of the 1 seeds. I took Virginia that year. Disastrous. Never again. And then the next year they freaking win it all. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I hope not. I think I have Purdue losing in the second round. Do you know who's the other team that won as a 16 seed? No? Do you guys know the other 16 seed to beat a 1 seed? Oh, that's the first one. That's the first one. Yep. Yep. Fun fact. Played him in college baseball. It's one of the best games I ever pitched. Oh, he's like, yeah, I was there. It's first time we saw Mitch. Fairleigh Dickinson. All right, 3 seed against the 14 seed. Good luck to Fluhey. Good luck to Luis. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it going. True Raider says, I hate March Madness, bro. I don't see how that's possible. Today's one of the greatest days in sports. Today's one of the greatest days of the calendar year. You can't tell me otherwise. Luis Avina. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people getting a little bit nervous right now that Avina might be busting some brackets, but Fluhey says, oh, wait a minute here. We're getting ready to get into the fourth quarter of action. Avina up by 2 points, and right now Fluhey, he's going to end up tying it up, but did he burn everything? Oh, we're going to have an upset. No, we are not. Fluhey says, not so fast, sweetheart. Give me that snowman. With the win, Matt Fluhey picks up a dub. Wow. That was probably our best race so far. That was a close one. Oh, wow, he made it at the buzzer. Half-court heave. South Carolina. That's big. They were down 8, half-court heave, down to 5 now. That's big. This is March. So Jason E.B. is going to be taking on Matt Fluhey in the round of 32, which means our next races, which, can you fix the one name? It's Aaron Winnick. No K. I might have effed that up. Well, I did F it up. Amy is the 10th seed. And then we got Ira Jackson going to be going up against Gabriel. Matt Fluhey says, hell yeah, late finish in true Raider fashion. I mean, It depends when you're talking about, Fluhy, because if it would have been McDaniels, you're leading that race the entire way. And then it would have been an ultimate collapse. Correct. It's Winek. That is correct. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Miguel says, let's go, Amy. Who you guys got? You're going to roll with Winnick, type W, or if you're going to roll with Amy, I want you to type A. We got 2 more races, and then we will get into the next segment coming up here on the Raiders Report. Big luck. Good luck to you. You ready? Oh, we got eggs. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. Out to an early lead is the 10th seed, Amy. Honestly, this is how I picture Chuggs walking to the bathroom at night to take a piss. That's all it is. It's just little footsteps. Oh, what was that? Maybe that was a turtle head. You got to poop. Okay. Aaron Winnick with a big lead. I mean, this one is back and forth. This is a momentum-shifting game. This one's going to come down to the wire. Amy, I think they're going to have enough to hang on here, and Amy's going to get a dub as the 10 seed. Big win there for Amy. The 10 seed advances, which means the final game in our Las Vegas region here is going to be going to Ira Jackson up against Gabriel. Winner plays Amy, the 10 seed. So far, our bracket's been kind of chalky. Okay. I mean, a 9, is that even an upset, though? It's not even an upset. I feel like most of the time I take the 9 seed. It's also that's the number I like, but. All right, so we got Ira Jackson going to be going up against Gabriel. Jamari said, are we doing a 50-50 today? Probably not going to do a 50-50 today. We might do one tomorrow. Just because we already have so many duck races that are going to be going on during the month of March. And I was just going to say that I don't want people to get confused of what exactly is happening. So I'll probably say no to the duck race, at least for now. All right, here we go. We got Ira Jackson, the 2 seed, up against the 15 seed, the final game of the Las Vegas region. 3, 2, 1, let's ride. I'm guessing it's from that video game with the blocks. So the one Zelda, I want to say the top Samus. Iron Man. All right, fair enough. That's Zelda though? Okay. Link. See, that's actually what I meant. I'm not going to lie to you. This one's, I'm actually worried that they're both going to give up. Oh, the 15th seed looks like, oh my Lord. That was aggressive. Ira Jackson. I'll tell you what, that looked like a typical 2 against 15 seed in March Madness, where it's you're sweating a little bit, and then it's just, all right, we're the better team. That was like a game we saw today. It was Creighton. That game against Akron, we're like, holy shit, that's back and forth. Ira Jackson gets the dub. So, Chuggs, let's roll through real quick here the Las Vegas region. Since the first round of games are already in the book, the first matchup of the day was David Zahn, and he ended up getting a win. He's going to go up against the 9 seed, Jake Romero. We'll probably do those races sometime next week. Joshua Melton, the 5 seed, going to be going up against Julian Rod, who right now has the biggest upset in the tournament. Let's go now to the next round. Here we got 6 seed Jason E.B. up against the 3 seed Matt Bluhey. Then you got the 10 seed Amy up against Ira Jackson, the 2 seed. Miguel said Team Amy going all the way. Hey, they're the A team, the Amy team. I will say, Chuggs, I do want to switch up my jersey, and I want to do a boot in Abbott's jersey. So how about this? Let's go fill up the boot right now, because I feel like if I'm going to do a boot, I got to do a boot with the Abbott jersey on. And then I'm going to put on 2 other jerseys today. Also, Cameron, I'm going to wear your jersey tomorrow, your other one that I got. I wasn't going to wear both of them today. I wanted to wear one tomorrow and one today. I got 2 more jerseys, also brand new ones, which we got people that watch this show all the time. So I'm really, really excited to be able to rock those as well. What up, Miguel? Who wants a shout out here? Who's having a good time with the duck races? I know it's a little bit different. I know it's not Raiders related, but I think it's one of the cool things that we're able to do here on this show that makes this a little bit of a different thing than a lot of other Raiders shows out there. And I think right now Raider fans are blessed with the amount of awesome content creators that are out there on YouTube, because there's a lot of people that make a lot of awesome videos. And I think it's cool when we are able to go live as often as what we do. We always try to keep it fresh for you. We try to have a good time. At the end of the day, I want to do things that I do with my family, and we do March Madness here. And I also want to be able to do that stuff, with you guys as well. So I got a nice little boot ski here from Mr. Jeremy Chuggs, and this one's going to go out to Lord Cameron Abbott. I'll tell you what, this is a fresh one.
I also did spill it a little bit.
You spilt a little bit? I mean, if you're going to spill into this.
All right, we're going to get into some free agents here in just a second, right after this Mitch boot. But let me know, should the Raiders draft Terrion Arnold at pick 13? Type D for draft, type P for pass. But if you're going to say pass, give me a name of somebody that you would rather have them draft. Do you want them to get a quarterback? Do you want them to get an offensive lineman? Let me know down in the chat. Do you want draft or pass? And if pass, who do you want them to draft? Let me know. I see a lot of D's in the chat. Giggity. Lots of D. Oh, that was quick. That was a good one. That was a good little boot. Good little boot.
I'm always surprised by how different beers the foam sticks.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? What kind of beer was that? That wasn't Bud Light. There's no way.
That was Corona.
Oh, okay.
I
was going to say,
Corona.
like, sometimes when we do boots, like, I'm amazed on how much of the foam sticks. That foam, you guys can't really tell, but especially now because I'm not on screen. But, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I do have...
What?
I do have one bracket that's perfect right now.
Really?
Yes. But, of course, that's the one that I don't have in any groups.
Oh. I mean, isn't that how it usually goes?
Yeah.
I want to see my brackets. I am... So, you're one that's Chat Sports Picks 2. I don't know who that is. I see... Yeah, I don't know. The most picked champion was UConn at 24.7%. Houston was 13.6%. Purdue at 10.1%.
Never mind. My bracket's not perfect anymore.
No, that was quick.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now
ended.
at the Chat Sports one.
You want to change that Joyzy while I have you off screen?
Yep, I got you.
I was waiting for you. I was like... But yeah, it's official, guys. I'm sorry, my bracket's not perfect.
I feel like when you have like the bracket, it's kind of like
a
lottery where you think like, what would I spend the money?
Oh yeah, you're like, oh, if I have a perfect bracket, what would I do? When in reality, it's not gonna happen. I am in second place in in one of my other brackets in a group, but yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
As long as I'm not last.
I mean, that's. I will say, I'm curious with ours if it's true that the person that comes in last has to also go to Cincy.
I don't think anybody's going to Cincy. I don't think Coop and Rolly are going. I don't think so.
You don't think?
I think they're gonna wimp out. I do.
That's lame. That's lame.
I do. I think they're hoping that nobody remembers and that they're just going to get out of it.
True Raider, salute to you. Let's go to my man here, Brandon Jasper. Here it is again. Locals. For the best content, personal interactions, and more live shows. Congrats on the dubs on. Hope you take home the championship. If you want to go hang out with me, Jasper, a bunch of other real ones, over on Locals, it's RaidersReport.locals.com. I go live over there every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so I'm rocking my Brian Folsom jersey. So, Brian, hopefully you're here in the chat. Shout out to you, my man. We're going to go through here. We're going to look at my updated top 10 free agents that I believe that the Raiders should sign and target. And then we got some more duck races to do. We got 8 more games, 8 more races to go through, and I believe the next region that we're going to do is...
The next region that we have up is the Los Angeles.
The Los Angeles region.
With
and then
the 1 seed, Mr. Trivan.
Mr. Trivan's got a big matchup here. Though,
could we see an upset?
I was going to say, I can't wait for if Trivan loses, I'm going to get a text message like, you really had me as a 1 seed lose. And then on the tomorrow for Friday happy hour, which hopefully y'all are ready to turn up with me tomorrow, we will be doing some more as well. And then tomorrow it's going to be tomorrow we're Oakland and Brockton.
Yeah, so we have the Los Angeles region, which we're going to finish today. We have 8 races in total with that, so we'll do 4 after this segment, and then another 4. Or actually, we're going to do. Yeah, I think we'll get done with half of the Los Angeles bracket today, and then tomorrow
we'll be done with all Los Angeles today, right? Yeah, we'll be done with all
4 and 4. Oh yeah. And then tomorrow we'll do the Oakland and Brockton
side
region
of the bracket. I like it. Larry said Raiders are moving up to pick 4. Hey, people are talking, and I'll talk about it at the end here of today's show. However,
how long do we stay live if they trade for the number 4 overall pick right now?
Oh man, dude, buckle up. I don't know. Honestly, I might pull a BYU and go till Sunday. You guys, which is the most mind-blowing thing I've heard, because I actually never knew that BYU didn't play sports on Sunday, and in college we also played a baseball team that they didn't play on Sundays, which, to each their own. Which, I don't know if you guys knew this, BYU was going to be a 5 seed, and they said that they would go down to a 6 seed so they didn't have to play on Sunday. Like, I know it's like maybe not that big of a deal, but it's kind of a big deal.
Sandy Koufax didn't pitch in the World Series because he was ultra-religious Jewish, didn't want to play on the Sabbath either.
And so imagine this. Imagine it's Raiders are in the playoffs, and they're the 5 seed, and they don't want to play on Sunday, which probably in the wrong sport. However,
I was going to say all the games are on Sunday. Okay, how about this?
You go down 1 seed because you don't want to play
if you're Jewish, basically it's Saturday is the day of the Sabbath. Could you imagine you play a Saturday game? You're Orthodox Jewish, like you practice Judaism.
Okay.
Do you not play on Saturday? Sandy Koufax didn't pitch in the World Series because of it.
See, I didn't know that either. All right, what happened to this? What's this scenario? You're what do you say, Orthodox Jew?
Mm-hmm.
You're the best quarterback in the country. You get recruited. You're going to go play in the Pac-12, or I don't even know what the conference is going to be anymore. You're Oregon, you're Washington, you're USC. That game starts at 9 o'clock at night on Saturday.
I mean, college football would be really hard because all the games are on Saturday.
Well, I guess I'm thinking more of, all right, you're BYU. You're playing at 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Game goes into overtime. Is it one of those things where it's like as soon as Sunday happens, you're like, I'm done?
Forfeit.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Brandon, much love to you. I also see we got another one from Rich Wolf, Raiderman01. Mitch, what X/current Raiders watch the report? To my knowledge,
Are you going to dox them?
I'm not going to put people. I know certain players have told me that they watch. I know that Mark Davis watches occasionally, which should not really surprise people because if you're the owner of the Raiders and you don't know everything that's going on around you, specifically because we've been doing this for so long, like that's something out there. I would say, to my knowledge, I have had at least 15 players tell me that at one point they've watched the show.
It's their dirty pleasure.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just like anything in life. Like it shouldn't surprise people that people look up their name. Like, should it surprise you at any point that somebody looks up their own name? And honestly, most of the time it's the young guys where you're going to a new team, you look up your name, and then, oh, wow, there's these 2 crazy guys doing boots talking about me. Like, I'm going to watch the show.
Raiderman01, what do you think about Peyton Wilson, linebacker from NC State? Just win, baby.
Love him. I think he's a hell of a linebacker.
You love him? Why don't you marry him?
I'll tell you what, if you told me right now the Raiders could get him at pick 77, I might get down on one knee. That's I think.
What about both of them?
No. I think Peyton Wilson, though, super athletic, great fit in the Patrick Graham system. Did have a lot of injury concerns, which he's had multiple injuries. The medical checks, though, were good. For somebody his size, his length, like runs a 4.43 40, can go sideline to sideline. I'm telling you right now, if the Raiders were able to get him at pick 77, don't think it's going to happen. He could be a top 50 pick. Like if the Raiders took him at 44, I wouldn't be mad.
So I was thinking of your BYU scenario.
Okay.
Your wedding day comes up. Raiders make a massive trade.
Yeah.
What do you do?
On my wedding day?
Wedding day, they trade Devontae Adams.
You're going live. That's a you day. Yeah, that's... Bro,
You're the BYU.
I'd be by myself if I went to cover that. Honestly, people that went to BYU would get more action than I would on my wedding night. Dude, there's no way. I mean, there's just certain days where, which it doesn't happen often, and I think, maybe if I would have first started doing the whole YouTube thing, now I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think we've built that credibility where you guys know, if we're available, we're gonna go live, we're gonna make content. People don't go live for 26 hours straight if they're afraid to make the content. On my wedding day, I hate to break it to y'all, I'm not gonna be here. Chuggs is gonna be holding down the fort, and that would just be one of those things. Yeah. Can you imagine though? Bro, I'm not even kidding you. There would be a part of me that would be like, give me an hour. Give me an hour. Live from the dance floor.
I'm sitting there at the wedding. Mitch looks at me. He's like, you need to leave my wedding.
Bro, he's like, you got to go right now.
You can't be here. I'm sorry. The Raiders just made a move.
You're gonna have to go somewhere
Me and
else.
Brett scooting out the door. We're grabbing some hors d'oeuvres on our way out. Can I get a doggy bag for this entree? I chose the meat selection.
Can I take some alcohol with me? Yeah, you're good.
I heard it's open bar. Can I just grab 7 of these beers?
Yeah, that would be worst case scenario. Hopefully, though, which this is one of Alex's biggest pet peeves. I try not to plan anything around football season. She wanted to get married in the fall, which can't get married in the fall here. That's you get married in the fall here.
Oh, dude, Danny wanted to get married in the fall as well, and I said no. She actually wanted to get married in January, and I said, "That's the start of playoffs."
Yeah,
She was like, "Does it look like the Raiders are going to make the playoffs?" And I was like, "You never know."
Yeah, it's honestly the only time that I do it anything is there's that week after the Super Bowl, and then I always tell Alex, month of May, not the first week of June because of post-June 1st cuts. I'm hoping literally right after that, because my wedding's June 6th, for those that do not know. Not this year, but next year. I literally told her, I was like, that's gonna be the one time where it's Raiders gonna do some post-June 1st, some bullshit. I don't know.
They trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Christ. No, that's not going to happen. We're not even going to wish that into the existence. Not even gonna.
Do you take this woman? Bang! Driving!
Driving pops up out of nowhere.
Front row, all Mount Raidermore.
Potentially. I actually joked with Alex, and I was like, what if we did we invite one Raider fan to the wedding? I got vetoed pretty quick, but I tried, guys. I legitimately did. She'd back me up on that. I was like, what if we did, MVP for a month was you get to come to my wedding. I mean, come on. That would be kind of sick. You get to go to Chuggs' wedding. I mean, that would be tough.
Yeah.
I actually hope you don't have another wedding. So we'll scratch that.
Yeah. MVP this month gets to go to my next wedding.
There you go. Forward thinking. I appreciate it. Rich Wolf, will Devontae expose Josh McDaniels?
Oh,
maybe.
Rich Wolf, I'll be going live on Instagram for the wedding.
I mean,
I'll be on Mitch's phone live on Instagram during the ceremony.
Damn. Brutal. I'll say this for Rich Wolf. I know you're talking about Devontae. He's going to be in the new Netflix series, which is Wide Receiver. I can't wait to watch that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Though
that's free content.
To be real with you, I don't really anticipate Devontae to really shit on Josh McDaniels because Devontae doesn't really seem like that kind of guy. Now he might show his frustrations, and I want people to be like, if he yells at McDaniels on the sidelines, like that's okay. Like I want to see that type of emotion. But if there was one thing, and I was kind of thinking about this, imagine if Devontae would be on wide receiver the year before, where like that whole like thing with the Chiefs photographer would have happened. That on camera would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been wild.
Why is there a duck inside? I'm not
Oregon.
really sure. Oh, I guess I didn't really put two and two together. I was just like, somebody's filming a duck, but now that you say that, it makes a lot more sense. All right, let's go. Let's talk here a little bit about some top free agent targets for the Las Vegas Raiders. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. Coming up on today's show, I got an updated top 10 Raiders free agent targets. Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, full closure. Like, I think they've actually done a pretty solid job with the silver and black. I know some people still want them to go out and make some other moves, but if you consider the fact that, like, if Adam Butler, John Jenkins, and Andre James didn't play with the Raiders and they weren't considered re-signings, I think people would be a lot more excited about a lot of the moves that the Las Vegas Raiders have made. As it stands right now, the Raiders are 8th in salary cap space. So I took numbers from Over the Cap and I took numbers from Spotrac. Both were very similar in where they had the Raiders at. The more important number to me, though, is 8th most still in salary cap space. 8 picks in total for the NFL draft, 1 through 7, and then they have 2 picks in round 7. If you find yourself looking for free agency videos around the Raiders, I promise you, we got you covered here. If they sign somebody like a Trey White and Xavier Howard and Adoree Jackson, I'm going to be going live here on this channel. We're going to celebrate the move. We'll also break it down, give you the full analysis. And at the end of the day, I like to make content. And if you're a Raider fan, you bleed silver and black, I like to believe that we are the channel for you. So coming up here, the way that I have these players ranked is I have ranked them from 10 down to 1, and I based it on how much of a team need that I think it is, how much I think it would cost the Raiders to go out and sign those players, and then just the overall fit on the offense or on the defensive side of the football. You're going to see that there are certain positions that I am going to value more than others, and realistically, there's just certain positions that I'm targeting here in NFL free agency. Let's go to number 10 on the list, and it is Patrick Peterson. And I know that I have him listed here as a cornerback. However, I would say that you could almost put like hybrid / safety next to Peterson's name based on what he was able to do last season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I thought that he played pretty well last year at the safety spot. And the reason why that he had to play safety is when Pittsburgh lost Minkah Fitzpatrick, Peterson was like, all right, man, I'll step up. I got the job. And the way that I would look at the role that Peterson would play is, I'm not saying Patrick Peterson's Charles Woodson, but Peterson at one point was one of the best corners in the NFL. When you're a really smart player, you figure out ways how to stay in the league longer. And that's what I think Peterson was able to do at safety, where he's like, you know what? I'm not as athletic as what I used to be, and I can't play corner, but I still got this up here. And that's what he's going to be able to bring to the table. A player coach on the field, which is very important. Also, last season, he was with Gerald Alexander, who is the Raiders safety coach now. And if you could put him in that hybrid type of role, corner safety, add a little bit of a mix in there, which if you do this, that helps you out for behind Merrick, behind Epps. I think it also leaves the door open for the Raiders to say, you know what? We still need that legit cornerback one. This could be your Amik Robertson replacement, and then still go out and try to potentially get a guy like a Terrion Arnold, a Quinion Mitchell, a Nate Wiggins in the first round of the NFL draft. So when you think about all those moves from top to bottom, like here's the safety room. And I would have a lot more faith in Patrick Peterson over Chris Smith, over Jones, over Grant. I still would have Epps and Merrick starting, but from cornerback to safety, I think this would be a good fit here for the silver and black. Let's go to number 9 here on my rankings. It is Laken Tomlinson. The way that I consider Peterson is the exact same way I consider Tomlinson. They are not what they used to be. And the reason why I have this position ranked higher than Peterson is because I personally view guard as a bigger need than cornerback as it stands right now. Now, if you're going to go out and you were to get Tomlinson, who 7 sacks allowed last season, wasn't great for the New York Jets previously, played for the San Francisco 49ers, but he has started every game for the past 6 seasons at left guard. If you sign Tomlinson here, you kick him at left guard, then you put over Dylan Parham over to right guard, which there's at times that I think that might be his better position. You put Parham at right guard, that helps out Thayer Munford, and he is a better pass blocker than a run blocker, and that's been kind of what he's been his entire career, which is kind of why I would like to put him on the left side then a little bit more. It's going to depend who your quarterback is. Like if it's Penix, I don't think it really changes the idea. If it's, Aiden, if it's Gardner Minshew, don't know if it changes all that much. But you go out, you sign Laken Tomlinson, you put him at left guard, then you have Andre James, Dylan Parham, Thayer Munford. That would be your Raiders starting offensive line. Here's my question. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, which means you're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. Scroll on down. Let the ad play. When you let the ad play, hey, helps out Jeremy Chuggs and I can promise you that. So if you want to help us out, please let the ad play. If the Raiders could sign one free agent, let's say Telesco, Pierce, they say, you guys get only one more. Only one more. Who are you going with? Let me know down below. My answer is going to be ranked number 1 on this video. Let's go to number 8 here, Isaiah Simmons at the linebacker position. I am telling you right now, the only linebacker that if I'm the Raiders that I would legitimately consider to sign in free agency is Isaiah Simmons. 6'4", 240-pound linebacker. He is an athletic freak out of Clemson, and realistically, probably coming off the best year that he's ever had as a pro. 50 tackles, 1 interception, 3 PBUs, and this was a player that I had just such sky-high aspirations for, and I was pounding on the table for the Raiders to get him just a few years ago when he was coming out. And the Arizona Cardinals did not use him correctly. The Giants used him a little bit better last season, but he's got 41 career starts in 4 seasons. And when you look at his PFF grade, an 82.7 coverage grade, like I want a linebacker that can cover a little bit better. And I know that Simmons has been, many people would consider him a bust so far. But the reason why that I would do this move here if I'm Las Vegas is because does anybody out there believe in Antonio Pierce? Does anybody out there believe in Patrick Graham? Does anybody out there believe in Rob Leonard? Rob Leonard coached the linebackers at the Senior Bowl. I believe Antonio Pierce has that mentality, and he really helped the Raiders turn into one of the best defenses in the NFL. And then Patrick Graham. Like, there's so many good teachers, and I'm not just really betting on Isaiah Simmons. If anything, I'm betting on the Raiders coaching staff to get the most out of this guy. And if you do end up getting the most out of him, look out, because this is another move that could really transition this Raiders defense from being one of the best to the best defense in the league. Like, Robert Spillane, I'm excited to see what he does this year. Divine Diablo, I've been waiting on it. Luke Masterson is an underappreciated player. But if you were to add Isaiah into this mix, it does. It makes your linebacker room, makes your entire defense a lot more agile and a lot more versatile. Let's go to number 7 on the list here. It's going to be Tre'Davious White, cornerback, previously with the Buffalo Bills. He was cut earlier this season. The Raiders met with him on Monday, which is March 18th, I want to say is the date. And White has dealt with several, and I mean several injuries over the past few seasons. And there's multiple teams that have been interested in White, and I'm hoping, I'm making this video here on Thursday. I'm hoping that he doesn't sign in between when I put this video out because, like, he's visiting the Rams. I think he's visiting the Titans. I think the Giants have a little bit of interest on him on top of that. But you're also talking about a dude that's had multiple injuries, also tore his Achilles on October 1st, 2023, so just a few months, and there's some hesitation because I don't want to go out and get a corner that's not able to stay healthy. And yeah, the upside's there. Absolutely, it's there. I'm not going to pay him a lot of money. If I'm going to give him a deal, I'm going to say, all right, here's $4 million. I'll give you $4 million extra if you're able to play some games and stay healthy, because only 10 games played in the last 2 seasons, only 21 games played in the last 3 seasons, but when he has been on the field, he is a legit corner. And overall, like, would I have more confidence in Tre'Davious White or Brandon Facyson? I'm having a lot more confidence in White. Facyson, I also don't know how healthy he's going to be. What is he going to look like after not playing basically the entire season? And just because you go out and sign Trey White does not mean that you should not go out and try to target a corner in the NFL draft high up. Let's go to number 6 on my list here. It's Greg Van Roten. And yes, I'm serious. I value Greg Van Roten more than all these other players. Why? Price. Based on, I know that he can already play in this system. Based on, it's a 6th man type of approach. And that's like the really, really key term that I want you guys to think of. Like, think about the great NBA teams, right? You need to have that solid 6th man. That's what I want Greg Van Roten to be. That solid 6th man that can be a backup left guard, that can be a backup right guard. And last season, did a pretty good job for the Silver and Black. 1,025 snaps played. Does not get the credit that he deserves. The 75.3 PFF grade. That was the 7th best out of 79 guards last last season and would like him to be that sixth man. I see some of y'all are saying, is it the same system? It's not exactly the same system, obviously, because you have a different offensive line coach with James Craig. Carmen Basillo, he ends up moving on. But to me, it's the same mentality with Antonio Pierce. And that's kind of the mentality that I'm going forward here when I talk about Greg Van Roten. On top of that, it's a big-time upgrade over DJ Fluker. And if you're able to put Van in this situation, you still have the opportunity to go out and draft a guard. And I think he'd be a good coach's player. I think he'd also be a good teammate. And I know for a fact that the Raiders locker room absolutely loved Greg Van Roten. Coming up here, the top 5 free agents that the Raiders should go out and target. I know that the NFL draft is kind of the concentration for some people right now. That's still like 5 weeks away, y'all. The Raiders can still make some moves, and they're going to be making some moves. I can promise you that. I can also promise you this. We only have a few of these bad boys left in stock. They've been flying off the shelves like crazy. And if you want to get your hands on a Christian Wilkins t-shirt, then all I need you to do, you can see the link down there in the comments. It is chatsports.com/Wilkins. I know it says 00. It's just the graphic. It's just what was made at the time. What do you say? Placeholder. That's the right word. It's going to be number 94. That's the number that Wilkins picked. And I'm telling you right now, if you're like, I've been wanting to get this, I've showed it a few times, this may be your last opportunity, because what we were told is they don't have many left. So think about this as you're looking for a flight. There's 2 seats left. I don't want you to miss the flight. So get this, chatsports.com/Wilkins. Link is available to y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. Let's go to number 5 here on my list. It's Dalton Risner at offensive guard. If the Raiders were to sign anybody on the interior offensive line, the name that I would throw out there is Risner. To me, he's the best option from top to bottom, 6'5", 310 pounds. Last season and 745 snaps, solid pass blocker. Run blocking could be a little bit better, though the Minnesota Vikings in general had a pretty weak offensive line. The Raiders would be a better one. 4,518 snaps at left guard in his 5-year career, which I do think is an important metric. And if you go out and add Risner, you're probably going to keep him at left guard. Then you're probably going to kick Dylan Parham over to right guard. He's also has some AFC West experience from his time with the Broncos from 2019 to 2022, which the reason why that I note that is because that does mean some value to Tom Telesco. It's not a difference maker, but realistically, if it came down to Risner and Greg Van Roten and them wanting a similar type of deal, I do think that the Raiders would go with Risner. And even if it was just a little bit more for Risner, I think they would end up going with him just because he is the better player. He's the more reliable player, and building your trenches is extremely important, especially because you don't know who's going to play quarterback yet. So I discussed 3 offensive linemen, and spoiler alert, these are the only guards that are going to be on today's show. So let's just say this. Let's play a game. Let's say Laken Tomlinson, Greg Van Roten, Dalton Risner. Let's say Laken Tomlinson's the cheapest. Greg Van Roten is the second cheapest. Most expensive is Dalton Risner. You can pick only one to sign. Who are you rolling with? You're going to go with Tomlinson, type LT. If you're going to go with Van Roten, give me a GVR. Or if you're going to roll with Dalton Risner, that's where I'm going. I'm typing my DRs down below. Let's go here to number 4 on the list of our Raiders free agent targets. I'm going to roll with Steven Nelson at the cornerback spot. Now, Nelson is not what I would consider a cornerback one, and some of the names that you're going to see coming up here aren't cornerback ones, but he's a reliable player, and he's a damn good football player. 63 tackles last season for the Texans, 4 interceptions, 12 pass breakups. I've talked to Chuggs numerous times about Nelson, and it's one of those dudes that you just really don't want to let go. He's a solid football player. I'm not going to overpay him. He's not that type of guy, but he's a guy that if you add him, he's going to be a reliable corner on your backfield. So Nelson, coming off back-to-back strong seasons with the Texans, has started at least 15 games in every season since 2018. And the fact that he's played in multiple schemes gives me confidence. And sometimes people get a little bit worried when you get an older player in their 30s, how are they going to adjust to a new defense? He's played in so many different systems and has played in those systems at a good, solid, high level that I'm not worried about how is he going to fit with Patrick Graham. I'm not worried about how the fit's going to be. And if you were able to add Nelson, I don't know then if the need is as much to draft a corner in round 1, which maybe, you shift your attention to another position per se. But if you are really eyeing a corner in the 2nd, 3rd round, or maybe you don't want to draft a corner and you're looking at Ja'Cory and Bennett, how can we give him a little bit more time? going out and adding a veteran like Nelson is a solid move. Let's go to number 3 here on my list, who realistically is probably the best guy on this entire list. It's Stephon Gilmore. And if you're looking for a legit cornerback 1, Gilmore might be the guy that you should pick up the phone and give a call to if you're considering free agency. I'll also say he's going to be the most expensive on this entire list. Like, Gilmore to me is going to be getting somewhere around $10 million per year. And the fact that he does still thrive in single coverage and is arguably the best cornerback on the market, he knows that, his team knows that, and sure, he's 33 and a half years old, but he can still play at a high level. He's played over 1,000 snaps in back-to-back seasons, and when you consider what the market is, like, I'm telling you right now, the name that you're about to see on this show is not better than Gilmore. I do think that there's upside in the next player that you're going to see, but the reason why Gilmore's number 3 on my list is solid player, can be a cornerback 1 still in this league, and when you look at these numbers here, I mean, it absolutely backs that up. Like, he's not the defensive player of the year that he once was. And I know some of y'all are like, well, he's going to have a downfall sooner rather than later. And he might sooner rather than later. Father Time is undefeated. But from what I saw last season and what I've seen from him, if he's motivated and he's healthy, he could still be a very, very good corner. Let's go to number 2 here on my list, and it is Adoree Jackson. The reason why Jackson gets the nod over Gilmore is price tag. I think Jackson's half the price of what Stephon Gilmore is. And on top of that, there's a lot of upside here with Jackson. He's got versatility. 63 tackles, 8 PBUs, 1 interception last season for the New York Giants. But when you look at the tape, he was injured the first half of the season. The back half of the year, he played at a much higher level, and once you know it, he was healthy. He had a career year with Patrick Graham back in 2021, so he does already have some of those connections there. And I believe that he would take a cheap 1-year prove-it deal, which is something that I would look for in Jackson. And Gilmore might take a 1-year deal as well. I just don't think it would be nearly as cheap. And because of that ability to play in the slot, because of that ability to play on the outside, it does give you a lot of versatility. And if they wanted to move Nate Hobbs around, you could do it. I'll also say this, just because you go out and you sign Adoree Jackson does not mean that taking Terrion Arnold at number 13 is out of question. Like, that would still be a possibility to me. When you look at his PFF grades and stats from last season, he had an overall grade of 40.5 is what that says, which is kind of crazy to me. A coverage grade, which not great either. Passer rating of 119.9, and then INTs, as you can see, 0. On top of that, the PBUs. But Adoree, I know some people are going to look at some of these numbers here, and they might be, thrown off a little bit, but his PFF grade was a 48.6. His coverage grade was a 45.9, so yeah, I don't know where you got those from. I was like, those aren't right. Now, still though, like, the PFF numbers are not spectacular. But I don't want you to just look at the PFF numbers because they are kind of skewed, and I wish PFF would, like, divide it at times with, like, beginning of the year and the back end of the year. He was much, much better at the back half of last season, and that's why he's on this list. Cheap also knows Patrick Graham, which means rolling in here at number 1. I asked you guys earlier, who is the number 1 free agent that you would want the Raiders to sign? My name, it's Xavier Howard. And I will say, if you go out and you sign X, I don't know what that means for taking a corner at pick number 13, but like based on fit, based on upside, based on price tag, I think Howard could be a home run hit. And if you're able to add Howard to your defense, somebody who does have a lot of swagger, on top of that, this guy makes plays on the ball. He creates turnovers. And I anticipate this Raiders defense with their front 4, they're going to get pressure. Howard's going to take advantage of those opportunities. He's worked with Patrick Graham, Rob Leonard, and Gerald Alexander. He had 15 interceptions in the 2 years when Gerald Alexander was the DB coach down in Miami, and he started at least 13 games the last 4 seasons. Howard has this, like, people think he gets injured a lot more. He does play through injuries. I would say it kind of reminds me of, like, a Julio Jones, and I don't know if that reference makes sense to y'all, but where it was always, man, it feels like he's injured a lot more. He goes out there and he plays. He might not finish the game. But Howard, to me, if he's 100% healthy and he's motivated, I mean, wouldn't you want to go play with some of your old buddies in a Christian Wilkins and Adam Butler, a John Jenkins? You can be the standout cornerback 1 for the Las Vegas Raiders. Could be a good opportunity to get yourself a hefty payday on top of that. I do think he'd be cheaper than Gilmore, though it wouldn't surprise me if Howard and his team did try to get him a contract similar to something that maybe a player like Stephon Gilmore could potentially get. All right, y'all, those are my top 10 free agent targets for the Las Vegas Raiders based on needs, based on price tag, based on everything going on right now for the Silver and Black. If you guys could, don't be afraid, take a screenshot here, post it on Twitter, post it on Instagram. Just make sure that you tag me and Jeremy Chuggs at Mitchell Renz 365, at Jeremy Chuggs. If you're on IG, it's at Jeremy_Chuggs. So please keep that in mind. If you enjoyed today's show, we're going to be pumping out a lot, and I mean a lot of content very similar to this. I'll make you guys a promise. If the Raiders sign any of the 10 players that you see on screen right now, I will go live, and we will break it all down. Sound good? So don't miss the show. We're going to be partying. We're going to be rallying here on the Raiders Report. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and if you're watching this live, more duck races coming up. All right, Jeremy, if the Raiders could sign one free agent, who would you want them to sign?
Oh,
I'm going to switch my jersey, too.
Maybe sneaky, because I think it all depends on what they're going to do in the draft and if they're going to move up for a quarterback. If they're going to move up for a quarterback and not get one of the top cornerbacks, then I'm going to say corner. If they're going to go ahead and draft Terrion Arnold in the first round, then I would like them to sign Isaiah Simmons. I like the fit there. He's a guy who you already have your thumper in the run game in Robert Spillane, who's really played well this past season. Divine Diablo, decent in the run game, but one of his biggest areas of weakness has been in coverage. So if you can get a guy to kind of supplement Divine Diablo and be out there in third down situations, a linebacker safety hybrid in Isaiah Simmons, and somebody who, if anybody knows linebackers, and something that kind of I've said with DeMeco Ryans and the Texans and now kind of fits with Antonio Pierce and the Raiders is, if anybody knows linebackers and who can fit in that defensive system at the linebacker position, it's going to be Antonio Pierce, a guy who played linebacker for 10-plus years in the league.
Yeah, I would look at, not similar, but like Jack Jones was a very highly recruited player, was a player that was like, oh man, this guy could be something special. And then, as you saw, Antonio Pierce, this regime, they got the most out of him. I am willing to bet on AP, on Patrick Graham, that at the end of the day, they're going to be able to get the most out of their players. And because of that, I'm going to take a shot on Isaiah Simmons as well.
I see a lot of preach.
I'm seeing
in the chat.
Stephon Gilmore.
Thanks, brother.
Gilmore versus Brown.
Sign Isaiah Simmons.
Josh Melton, Hector Gaming, Gilmore. Yeah, Simmons from Vincenzo. Let's roll through a few supers that I saw that we got. See, we got one from Chance. I also see that we have one here from Rob, and then we got 4 more duck races to go to.
Oh, you already read this one.
I already read that
Mr.
one.
Rich Wolf. Chance-tastic.
Patriots love Jacoby and might go for something after or other than a quarterback. Hopefully Washington still embraces themselves and drafts McCarthy. Massive draft turmoil, hopefully. I'll say this, based on what I know and what I understand, I still think the Patriots are going to end up taking a quarterback unless there is an offer too good to refuse. I did hear that they are interested in, what's his name? Holy shit. Malik Neighbors is a wide receiver that they have very, very high on their draft board. But like I do see New England going QB. And yes, Jacoby is a good QB, but the way that New England, I would imagine, views Brissett is the same way the nation views, Aiden O'Connell or a Gardner Minshew, where it's not really the guy that you want to start. Like if you had to pick and you could get a top 3 quarterback, you go that route.
Yeah.
Like in a pinch, sure, you can throw Jacoby Brissett out there, but not somebody that you legitimately want to have as your starting quarterback in the NFL. Let's go to Rod. What up, Rob? Sign X and take Penix at 13. Could happen. Like, if you were to sign Xavier Howard,
X gonna give it to you.
Honestly, my biggest concern then with the Raiders would be what they do on the offensive line. Like, I can sit up here all day and say I'm confident in Thayer Munford. However, if you have Michael Penix Jr., do you consider putting Colt Miller over on the right side? Do you just say, no, we're gonna keep Colton on the left, you're gonna roll with Thayer? Like, the right side of the Raiders' offensive line is probably right now the position outside of cornerback 1 is the position that I'm the most worried about right now, because you got nobody realistically at right guard, and Munford I'm hoping could play well, but still kind of unproven in the long. So I hear you. I know some people are really, really high on Penix. I would be okay with the pick. I wouldn't sit up here and say I'd love it. Now, if certain other things happen and we really build up our right side of our offensive line, then you might be able to change my opinion. Like, if Penix is the pick and the Raiders announce tomorrow, they're like, Colt Miller's going to play right tackle, Dylan Parham's going to play right guard, Munford's going to play left tackle, and we signed Dalton Reisner to play left guard, I'm liking that pick a little bit more. The offensive line needs to be better for the Raiders to address and go out and get Michael Penix. All right, here we go. Los Angeles region time. First matchup.
Angeles.
We got Trivan going up against Paul Ruiz. Then the matchup after that is Ray up against Jose Corona. Let me know who you got. If you're going to roll with Trivan, type T. If you're going to roll with Mr. Paul, I want you to type PR down below. This is going to be an interesting region. And somebody just said this is the best region from Big Luck, which I'll tell you what, that first region that we did in Las Vegas, that was a good one. Also, we got an update here, an NFL update. The tush push is a legal play, which I don't know if that's been new, but I just saw the tush push is legal. They were considering making it illegal. They're keeping it legal, which they should keep it legal because it's been proven that not everybody can do it. So if everybody was able to do it, then sure, but not everybody's able to do it.
Imagine seeing a team do something well and then being like, you know what? We should outlaw that.
Oh, I agree. I mean, that's like, I literally said this.
Chiefs are great at screenplays. No more screens allowed.
I mean, I literally, I was having this conversation with some of my family members, and they were like, oh, you should get rid of the tush push. I'm like, that's like telling the Warriors you can't shoot threes because you're not as good at it. Like, if the tush push was a guarantee every time, which, I mean, there's been times it hasn't. It's a very successful play. I hate when people, I'm going to sound like such a boomer here, people just take the easy way out way too often now. Figure out a way to stop it. If you can't stop it, figure out a way to stop it. Like, don't complain. Don't try to get it removed. It's lazy. Lazy, lazy, lazy. All right, here we go. Oh, we got some crabs here. We got Trivan as the 1 seed up against Paul Ruiz as the 16 seed, trying to be the next Fairleigh Dickinson. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's ride. Oh, these guys are happy. I'll tell you what. They realize that this is March, and they're just happy to be out there on the court right now. As you can tell, there's some pre-game jitters going on. Trivan's got a little bit of a lead.
This is a low-scoring affair.
And he's got a lead right now at halftime. But I'm telling you what, I'm nervous for Trivan right now. I am very, very nervous for Trivan right now. The number 1 seed. Are we about to have an upset? 4, 3, Trivan! Upset! Paul Ruiz! Wow, what an unbelievable race. And, I mean, that's the face that you make when you're a 1 seed and you lose to a 16. Paul Ruiz with the dub. What an unbelievable upset. Wow. Wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. A 1 seed goes down, Brett. It does happen. The question is, will it happen again? This is March. This is March. Oh, man. Trivan. Mount Raidermore goes down. It's a heartbreaker. I'll tell you what. I'm with you. If you guys aren't entertained by this, I don't know what it is. You're right. I'm probably going to get a phone call from Trivan shortly. Though, I also called it earlier. I called it earlier. I was like, if there's a 1 seed that loses, it's Trivan. Because then he's going to be like, bro, I never win these things. Guaranteed. Trivan, I'm sorry. I don't know if he's even here. He probably was, and then he just unsubscribed. He's like, I'm out of here.
He just threw his laptop against the wall.
F this game. Wow, I don't feel like we've ever done this one before. All right, here we go. Jose Corona, the 9th seed, up against Ray Aguirre, the 8th seed. I don't know. Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know where that was going. Which, are you a cat or a dog fan? Because there's certain people here in this office that like cats more than dogs, which I just can't even understand how that's possible. What? Did I get pause there? Let's go! Oh, wow. Is that a basketball? A little ball of yarn. It's bigger than these cats. I'll tell you what, I am legitimately worried for these. They haven't blinked. I mean, it's kind of concerning right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know. Jose Corona has got a little bit of a lead here. Is that going to be enough? Ray Aguirre, 3. Oh, wow. This one is going to come down to the ball of yarn. And Jose Corona with the dub. I'll tell you what, that's not how I thought that race was going to go. Which I like doing it differently. And I was telling Jeremy this, he was like, should we do like the same races? It's because every race I have found is different. Like if that's Ducks, Jose's losing. Like every race is different. Jose Corona with the dub. So here's our updated look at the Los Angeles region here. The number 16 seed Paul Ruiz advances. And he's going to go up against the 9 seed Jose Corona. Whew. Has a 16 seed ever made the Sweet 16? No. We could have history. Paul Ruiz, we could have history here on the Raiders Report. Let's look at the next matchups now. We got Rob Fravor going to be going up against Noah Santana. And then Scott Eckert up against Steven Huerta. How would you pronounce that? Silent H. Huerta.
Huerta.
All right.
Huerta.
I got you. Zahn called them crack kitties. Which reminds me of like The Hangover, where he's like, all I feed him is cocaine and chicken. The Roosters. Mr. Chang. Leslie Chang. All right, so we got 2 more races to go. Then we're going to get into some rumors around the Arizona Cardinals being interested in trading the number 4 pick. And then we got 4 more races to go after that, and then we're going to call it a day. We've had a lot of solid races here. You know what? I've always wanted to see Rob and Noah in this outfit, and I'm glad that it's finally coming to fruition here. So, Rob, do us a favor and keep that shirt down. No, let's get this thing going. 3, 2, 1. Wow, that was a unicorn. That's you got Kristaps Porzingis streaking down this court. Here we go. Noah Santana has got a lead by, I'm going to say, a pixie. Is that what that is? I don't know. I'll tell you what, I feel like I shouldn't even watch this race. I feel like I shouldn't even watch this one. Here we go. Noah Santana. I mean, neither of them moved. Rob Fravor doing his best Caitlin Clark impression and coming away with a dub. Coming away with a dub. Big win there for Rob Fravor. Oh. All right, touche. Rob Fravor with the dub. Yeah, Noah looks like somebody stole her unicorn. Not yet, at least. Big win there from Mr. Fravor. Big win. Antonio, what's up, man? Yoda said the unicorn is enjoying it. It's all good. All right, we got one more race coming up here, and then we are going to get into the next segment coming up here on today's show. We are in the Los Angeles bracket. Again, for some of you that are maybe just joining us, and you're like, Mitch, what the hell are we doing? I've been saying for weeks that we're going to do a March Madness bracket, Duck race style, Raiders Report style. Winner gets $1,600. And what we're doing is I have ranked 64 people that have submitted their entry to get in this thing, and we're just going to continue to run duck races the entire time that March Madness goes on, which I was kind of thinking of like how we should do the final game, and I can kind of ask you this. We can talk about it more after the show as well, but like, what if we went live for the national championship game, and then at halftime did the duck race then? It's maybe not a bad idea. Depends on schedule. We can't do it on Sundays either because of Jeremy, but could be something to at least think about. You're a Jew. This BYU thing is new to me. I'm freaking blown away by it. Also, if you haven't voted yet on the live poll, please make sure you do so. We got close to 1,500 votes right now, and it was favorite cornerback in this class, which I would say right now is a split for the nation between Terrion Arnold and Quinion Mitchell. Or what does Wasted say? Terry and Arnold? Terry and Arnold. So if you want both Terry and Arnold or Quinion and Mitchell, there's also Nate Wiggins, and if you think somebody else is better, you can also vote there. But right now, 61% of the votes for Terry and Arnold. 93. That's right, my man. Can we get to 420 likes? I got high hopes. Maybe it's because I'm looking at some Rockets here. You ready? All right, so winner has to play Fravor. Okay, winner plays Rob Fravor. 3, 2, 1, ride. Scott Eckert. Whoa, Huerta going to the moon here. What? Scott's Red Rockets poking me in the shoulder. You got to watch out for that one. This one is neck and neck right now. This is going to be a back and forth battle. I don't know what happened to Scott, but he's in foul trouble, clearly. Not very good. This might be a little bit of a comeback, though. Steven Huerta, fourth quarter action. Is Eckert going to have enough? Oh, man. Is he going to have a brilliant comeback? He does. Huerta just didn't want it bad enough. I mean, I think Eckert put on a full court press. Full court press and came away with a dub. Mr. Eckert, you're advancing. Mr. Eckert, you advance. It's a big win. I thought he was in trouble. Started out strong in the first quarter, was just absent from the second and third quarter, showed up big in the fourth. That's a championship mentality right there. Scott's a sneaky one. All right, here's our updated look here at the Los Angeles region here. Biggest upset of the tourney. Paul Ruiz takes down the number 1 seed Tri-Van. At number 9 seed, Jose Corona. Are we going to have a 16 seed advance to the Sweet 16 for the first time in March Madness history?
The first time in Raiders Report March Madness history as well.
Very true. Very true. Rob Fravor up against Scott Eckert, the 5 against the 4 seed. These matchups will probably happen, like I said before, sometime next week.
You know what they say, Mitch? Anything for the basket.
Even if that means losing an eye. You know who that quote's from? Never heard that one. I actually think that was Dick Vitale. Who? Vitale. What did I say? Me too, actually. There's a kid from Selinsgrove in my rival high school. Not a fan. Illinois got the dub. I thought that game was a lot closer. We got 4 more races. Just me? Sure. I can ask Zon. Zon, if you're watching right now, can you send me an updated address that you have? I was trying to send you some stuff the other day, and I don't know. I've sent you obviously a lot of stuff before, but for whatever reason, our shipping department's telling me that it's not the correct address, so I just want to double confirm with you. So if you're watching, if you could send me your address, that would be much, much appreciated. All right, next segment coming up here on today's show. And yes, this Oregon-South Carolina game is a good one. I'm happy I took Oregon. Oregon. Like I said, Oregon was a hot team. They got one of their best players back. I think he's got 29 points today. Since he's been back, they've been hot. They've been, what a block. What a block. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this next segment. Depending on how long that takes and with this game, depending on the score, since you got South Carolina, I got Oregon. If it's close, maybe we can look at that game a little bit. And then we got 4 more duck races, and then we're going to skedaddle on out of here. Sounds good? Hang on, let me, Oh, yeah? Taino, you're coming.
He said he already packed his TNT. Thong and toothbrush.
Okay. I was like kind of concerned more for him trying to take that on the flight. That's the bigger concern. Sir, what are you doing? I mean, imagine saying that. You're like, I have TNT in my bag. And they're like, yeah, thong and toothbrush. Can you even imagine? Oh, man, dude just got clocked in the face. All right, here we go. I mean, I don't see how it's a technical against, if anything, it's against South Carolina. No? Okay. You guys ready? Coming up, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals potentially being interested in trading back. And Zon, appreciate that. Yeah, Brett, I got Zon stuff now, so I'll send it to you after the show. All right, coming up, let's talk about the Cardinals trading. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, the Raiders trading up for a quarterback. It's still alive. And I know some of y'all are going to be like, Mitch, the chances are not high. I promise you this. After you watch today's video, you're going to be like this. So you're telling me there's a chance. And at the end of the day, that's all I need is a chance. If you also like this video, click that like button right now because I do believe there might be a small chance, but I've heard people say that Devontae Adams, never going to get traded. Khalil Mack, never going to get traded. Justin Fields is never going to get traded for a 5th-round pick, Mitch. He ended up getting traded for a 6th. Bottom line, things happen in the NFL, and if you still believe that the Raiders could trade up and go get their guy in Jayden Daniels, click that like button. The reason why that I do think that there's at least a little bit of a chance is we have an update here from the Arizona Cardinals, and their GM, Monty Ossenfor, said that they are open to trade offers for the number 4 pick. He also really mentioned that a lot of these discussions could take place at owners' meetings, and if you remember a few weeks ago, I was like, hey, like the NFL Combine, you get a bunch of these people together, there's a lot of conversations that happen, and could something start to materialize? Same exact thing for the owner meetings from March 24th to the 27th. There's going to be a lot of conversations that are going to be had. I will say that what the Cardinals GM did say was that he doesn't anticipate that a trade or anything happens during the owner meetings. It would be more than likely like during the NFL draft or days before the draft, so just something to keep in mind. But to me, the one team that I've always said is like makes the most sense to trade back is Arizona. They've already tried to stockpile picks, and it does make a lot of sense for them to try to go back and figure out how to rebuild that roster from top to bottom. Here's the exact quote, though, from the Cardinals GM on trading the number 4 pick. There will be a big neon sign that says open, and I don't like it blinking. It messes with my eyes, but we're always going to be listening. I think we'll always have the conversation. We may not get a point where a deal makes sense. We're always going to have the conversation, and if it makes sense, if it's attractive to the building, our team, then it's something that we'll certainly consider no matter where we are at the draft. I'd say that the phone calls are starting to pick up a little bit. I would say they'll probably continue into next week. I would imagine some of those conversations will continue to pick up, but honestly, they probably will not get real serious until we get right up to the week of the draft, similar to last year. So coming up here, I'm going to break down why the chances of the Raiders to trade up are still alive. And I'm going to show you my dream mock draft scenario, right? Like, I know for a fact that there's not a high probability of the Raiders trading up and going and getting their quarterback. But you know what? I'm going to paint a picture, and I'm going to promise you that that picture is going to be Jayden Daniels to the silver and black. I will get into that, but this is why you subscribe to the show. If you love the Raiders, click that subscribe button. If you bleed silver and black, seriously, hit it. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way, every time we drop a video, you're in the know. We got free videos coming out every single day. We go live 4 times a week when breaking news happens. I do my best to keep you up to date. I don't want you to agree with everything that I say, and I don't really plan on you agreeing with everything that I say. But at the end of the day, I'm the type of person, I support people that, one, family, you always support family. And if you believe that nation is family, you support it. But, like, nobody outworks Jeremy and I. And I will say that through and through. Nobody puts in the work that we do. So if you believe in a commitment to excellence, those are the type of businesses that I support. And if you're like, you know what, Mitch, I can ride with that. I promise you, watch this show for a week, watch this show for a month, watch it for a year. You have nothing to lose. And if you don't like it after that time, unsubscribe. You got nothing to lose, man. All right, so here's my painting a picture of Jayden Daniels to the Raiders if they trade up based off this Arizona Cardinals GM saying, hey, we're open to trading, and anything right now is on the table. I already know this. Caleb Williams is a Chicago Bear. Lock it in. The fact that Keenan Allen's at his pro day, the fact that DJ Moore's talking on radio and gets asked the question about what the next quarterback could potentially do, and he literally says Caleb. Caleb Williams is a Bear. Lock it in. Get ready to get it going. Next thing is this. Now, I've seen some very mixed reports on Washington and Jayden Daniels. However, what if it's true that Daniels doesn't like Washington? There was a story that came out about 2 weeks ago around the idea of Jayden not liking Adam Peters, who is the GM right now of the Commanders, because of a conversation Daniels and Peters had back in 22 when Brandon Ayuk introduced Jayden to Peters, and Peters told him that you're not going to basically be a successful quarterback in the NFL and that I value you as a 5th-round pick. And it's been reported or it's been said that Daniels doesn't like Peters. And what's interesting about it is he hasn't squashed that rumor. He has squashed the rumor of him not wanting to go to the New England Patriots. So maybe he hasn't seen it, maybe he has. But hey, what if he doesn't want to go to Washington? Something to consider, and maybe that's the reason why they don't take him. Next reason is, I know for a fact that the Commanders like Drake May. If you're the Commanders, do you take a chance on drafting a guy that you don't know for certain that he likes you or not? Or you're like, you know what, I like Drake May a little bit more. We're going to take him at pick number 2. Then this thing happens. The Minnesota Vikings, who have already made a trade with the Houston Texans, they have pick 11, they have pick 23. What happens if the Vikings at this point then trade up potentially with the New England Patriots, and the Patriots aren't sold on any of the other wide receivers? Maybe they like some other receivers. It's been reported that they're very high on Malik Neighbors, but the Vikings trade up to number 3. They give, this New England Patriots team, new head coach in Gerard Mayo, all these draft picks. But when you look at the latest J.J. McCarthy odds, okay, he was a plus 200, I want to say, last week to go to the Vikings. Today, as I am making this video, minus 100 odds, J.J. McCarthy, Vikings. When you see odds start to creep up into that area, Vegas knows something that we don't. And maybe Minnesota just trades up to pick number 4 with Arizona. But my idea here is, how can I paint a picture of the most realistic scenario where the Raiders get Jaden? And this is the scenario. Caleb Williams, Chicago Bear. Drake May, Washington Commanders. The Vikings want J.J. McCarthy because their other quarterback that they like is Drake May. I made a video last week that says that they have Drake May as their number 1, McCarthy is their number 2, not counting Williams, and then it's Jaden after all them. If Minnesota's already made the moves, could they potentially do everything they possible to go get McCarthy? If that happens, that means the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock at number 4. That means that Jaden Daniels is on the clock at number 4. And then, what happens? Could the Raiders potentially go up and get him? Now, I'll admit, there's a part of me that wonders that the Patriots are still going to take Jaden, because I do think that they like him, and I can understand why they would like him. He's an unbelievably talented quarterback. I don't think Jacoby Brissett has anything to do with their future plans. Think of it as just like the Gardner Minshew. You don't really want Gardner to start, but it's a really, really good backup option. So if the Patriots don't draft Jaden Daniels, or if they trade back with the Minnesota Vikings, I'm telling you this right now. If the Patriots don't take Jaden Daniels, and if the Vikings trade up, he's a Raider. And that's what I'm holding out hope for. So my perfect draft here. Let's roll through it real quick. Caleb Williams, Chicago Bear. Drake May off the board of the Washington Commanders. J.J. McCarthy off the board here at number 3 to the Minnesota Vikings. And then that means the Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to take Jaden Daniels at number 4 overall, trading up with the Arizona Cardinals. But the problem of this is, well, Mitch, what does it take to get that guy, right? And I hear you loud and clear. What does it take to go get that guy? I got some trade ideas coming up here on the show. To me, though, the reason why that I do think that the Patriots could potentially trade back and go to number 11 is I think that they could take a guy like Bo Nix. If they did really, truly like a quarterback, you stockpile some extra draft picks, and if you're New England, you can potentially get a Bo Nix at 11. You can get another top receiver at pick number 23, which you would get both of those picks, and that helps you build your roster. Or you might even be able to trade up again and go get some extra players, like if you really want a Marvin Harrison Jr., if you really want a Malik Neighbors, something along those regards. I will say this. One quarterback that has been very well duly noted that the Patriots do not like is Michael Penix Jr. When they had the opportunity to go to his pro day, they did not go to it, and all the top Patriots beat reporters have said they are not going to draft Michael Penix Jr. Does that mean they could potentially go get Bo Nix, a quarterback that they do like, and a quarterback that they were at his pro day? Something to at least keep in mind. Again, not likely, but hey, dream scenario here, right? So coming up is going to be 3 trades of what I think it's going to take to get up to number 4. And every single week that we do this show, every single time new information comes out, every single time I talk to somebody new, every single time somebody from our combine team or draft team talks to people, things change. I am going to tell you this, though, right now. The price tag to move up to 4 is going to be more, especially based on the scenario that I created, is going to be more than what it's ever been worth in the history of the NFL draft before. So get ready. Got some big trades coming up here. Before I show you what they are, if you want to get your hands on a Christian Wilkins shirt, make sure you do it. Pre-order it right now because they are going like hotcakes. And I know it says number 00 here. It's just a placement number. He's going to be wearing 94. When you order the shirt, it'll say 94 on it. And if you want to get your hands on this bad boy, go to chatsports.com/Wilkins. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and in the description. of today's show. And I know how excited I was when the Raiders got Wilkins. I know how excited I'm going to be when I'm rocking my Wilkins shirt. To me, I've been wanting for a defensive tackle for a long, long time. And you bet your ass I'm going to be rocking a Christian Wilkins t-shirt. Hopefully you're rocking it with me. Chatsports.com/Wilkins. All right, let's go here. Coming up, we got 3 trades based on the projected cost to get up to number 4. And when I make these trade ideas, it's predicated on the draft scenario that you previously saw. I'm also going to tell you this. Anytime I make trades, they are always the thing that goes on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram. All I ask is, if you agree with it, cool. If you don't, even if you don't agree with it, at least defend me a little bit in the comments, because I always hear, this is crazy. The trades that you're seeing are going to be based on you paying more than you've ever had to pay, because I believe this year and this year alone, that number 4 pick is going to cost more than anything because of the quarterback situation. So here we go. Trade idea number 1. The Raiders, they get the number 4 overall pick from the Arizona Cardinals, and then the Cardinals, they receive 3 first-round picks, pick 24, 25, and in 2026. I know it's a lot, but you also have to remember the 49ers, they went from 12 to 3. That cost them 3 first-round picks. So in that mindset, I'm thinking it's going to be very, very similar. Also, if you're the Raiders, your quarterback coach, Scangarillo, was also a part of that 49ers staff that helped them go up and get Trey Lance. Didn't work out. I think it would be a little bit different, though, here. Let's look at trade idea number 2. The number 1 need for the Arizona Cardinals. They don't have Marquise Hollywood Brown anymore. The number 1 need is Jacoby Myers. It's wide receiver. And it's not that I want to trade Jacoby. Let's get that out of the way, because everyone's like, Mitch, why do you always want to trade Jacoby? I want to trade Jacoby because I don't want to trade Devontae Adams. And that's the value. The Raiders also restructured his contract, which makes it easier for teams to take on Jacoby's contract. Your Raiders are going to eat a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm going to eat as much money as possible if it means that I'm going to go up and get Jaden Daniels, go up there and get my quarterback. So it's a first-round pick this year, number 13 overall, a first-round pick next year, and then you're giving up Jacoby Myers. The third trade idea that I cooked up here, Raiders obviously get number 4. The Cardinals, they get picks 13 and 44, and if Arizona does that, I think that puts them at like 7 or 8 picks in the top 100. I mean, this team has been stockpiling draft picks. They have been getting ready for a very, very long time. Then you're going to give them a second-round pick in 2025 and then a second-round pick in 2026. So based on the trade value chart, I tried to go not to pick number 4. I tried to get it to pick number 3 because I thought that's basically how much it would cost for Las Vegas if they wanted to get it done. So here's my question to you. I just gave you 3 trade ideas. What's your favorite one? Pick 1, number 2, or is it number 3? Let me know down below. This is the only question that I asked you guys, because this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Like, I want to know which trade you would do, because if you're not going to do any of them, guess what? Then this is never going to happen in the first place. If it was up to me, the trade that I would do is the first one. And I know some of you are like, you would give up 3 first-round picks? The reason why I'd be more willing to give up 3 first-round picks, because if I'm Antonio Pierce and I'm Tom Telesco, and I've said this before, I'm looking at 2026 as it doesn't matter. Because if Jaden Daniels hits and you trade up and you get that quarterback, this is worth it. If he's your franchise guy, the trade is 100% worth it. If you're Antonio Pierce and you're Tom Telesco and the trade doesn't work, you're not around till 2026. So I almost look at this as just free money that I can go out and spend and just say, here you go. If it works, it's great. This is why this would be the trade that I personally would do. I also like some of the value in the second round, and I want the Raiders to be able to still use a lot of those picks in year 1, in year 2 with Telesco, with Antonio Pierce to build a roster. That's why I would do this move right here. If you want to be able to interact with Jeremy and I on social media, there's places where you can do it. You're going to interact with us on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. Chuggs is at Jeremy Chuggs on X, and he's also at Jeremy_Chuggs on Instagram. And judging by the numbers, it looks like he gained a few followers. So, hey, don't be afraid. Hit us up. These are probably the easiest places also to just be able to interact with us, DM us, ask us questions. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on in our actual life, believe it or not, yeah, Jeremy said mine next to his. You'll get there. You'll get there. Seriously, though, appreciate all y'all for tuning into this show. Appreciate all y'all for tuning into our live show. And our March Madness bracket has been rocking and rolling. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you tune into our live show tomorrow, Friday, happy hour, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, for more March Madness insanity.
Yeah, every time I put mine next to yours, it just doesn't look as big.
Whippy, whippy, whippy.
I mean, like, when I'm around my other friends, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty big.
All right, what would be more alarming? 1.4 or 48.3? You're talking about size.
Yeah.
So I'm saying size as well.
Oh,
What would be more alarming?
I think
If something was 48.5 inches or 1.2?
I think 48.5.
I agree. I think I would rather be 1.2
I think
than
you-
48.
I think you get to that point and they're like, I don't even know what to do with this.
Legitimately, it's on the ground.
Yes.
My legs aren't
You
48
can't work
inches
out.
long. You can't work out. Honestly, you probably can't walk near a school. In all honesty,
No.
you can't go outside.
It looks like you're smuggling something every time you go out.
You're going through an airport and TSA is like, I'm going to have to pat you down. And you're like, believe me, you don't want to do that. Oh,
You're not going to like that.
He's like, sir, what is in there? God.
All right. We have a couple more races in the
What is that smell? Did you take your shoes off? No. I did not.
couple more races in the Los Angeles division.
Simba said you'd probably be an OnlyFans star. I think that'd be the only thing you'd be able to do. The only job that you would have would be that.
We have 4 more races.
4 more races to go in the
get
Los
going.
Angeles region here. We got Mo Chavez going to be going up against Andres Montano. First race. Then we got Ryan Campbell against Justin Gilbert. Gary Chai against my dad. Cameron Abbott against Richie Cruz.
Richie Cruz.
All
All right, first up, we got Mo Chavez
What's up, Mo?
against
93
Andres
nav
Montano.
man. You batshit crazy, Mitch. No way trade up for a QB. Maybe I am batshit, but you know what? If there's a quarterback that I like, I'm not afraid to go up and get him. It's a quarterback-driven league. You've probably never heard that before. You can have Raiders could have the greatest team from top to bottom. And I mean, you could have the greatest team from top to bottom. If you're rolling out with Gardner and Aiden, I don't know how confident you should be in this team winning the Super Bowl. Like, making the playoffs, I anticipate the Raiders make the playoffs this year. Call me crazy. With this team, I think that they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs because of that defense. And because they have some solid players on the offensive side. Quarterback, though, you got to figure out. And I don't think that they're going to be worse this year than what they were last year at quarterback. And if you can win 8 games with McDaniels/AP, I'm hoping you can win more than 8 games with just AP and not McDaniels. I mean, these guys look like they should wear 2 helmets. Here we go. 30 seconds on the clock. Mo Chavez. They're flight risks here. Yeah, they're pumping that shit up. 2, 1, let's ride. Mo Chavez up against Montano. Or maybe it's Montano. 19 seconds to go, and at halftime, Mo Chavez has got a little bit of a lead
Is
here.
it me or is Mo's bike smaller?
I think Mo's heard that his bike's smaller before. I definitely think that. 4 seconds to go. This is usually when they turn it up, and Mo kicks it into hyperdrive. Gets the dub over Andres. I'm actually surprised on how often the top seed has won in this March Madness bracket. Like, honestly, I was expecting totally everything different. The only upset is Tri-Van, which, of course, right? Both 9 seeds have won. Dude, this is...
I think in actual March Madness, the 9 seed has won more often than the 8 seed.
like the actual like metrics behind it.
Yes, like the 9 seed wins more often than the 8 seed.
Well, that's why nothing to lose. Underdog. I mean, I would say like if you were like the 8 or 9 seed, I've thought about this before. I kind of love like that opportunity to like be like that's the seed that I would love to play in, because if you win one game and you get that shot against the 1 seed, if you win, you have so much confidence and you're going to be the underdog no matter what. Like 9 seeds are 78 and 74 all time in the NCAA tournament. That's kind of cool. What are we going here? Oh, we got Gilbert against, is that Ryan Campbell? We got Gilbert against Ryan Campbell, which, honestly, somebody needs to get Ryan some sunscreen. Oh, man. I was going to say, that ore, yeah, there's no doubt that ore is made of wood. That's an old-fashioned ore right there. I think we're going to stay on this. Drip, drip. Here we go. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling, man. Campbell right now, maybe you're a righty. I don't know. Both, though, with good stroke game here for Ryan Campbell. Oh, it does change colors. That's weird. Which I don't. Does it actually do that? No, it's the top one too. It's a different color. Oh man, I think Ryan blew his load. Justin Gilbert with the upset. Wow. She knew what she was doing. Look at that. She knew what she was doing. Campbell's like, I'm done. I'm going to sleep. I'll tell you what, that was a creepy one. I'm not going to lie. That one was a little bit creepy. Ryan Campbell, though, I really, really thought that he was going to be able to be a contender in this. Justin Gilbert, watch out for him. Gets the dub. He's going to be going up against Mo Chavez in the next round here in our Los Angeles region, which means we got 2 more races to go. We got Gary Chai up against my dad. Conflict of interest?
You called your own dad.
Fair enough. All right. We got Brett.
Welcome in. We've got Gary Chai versus Rich Renz. Not Richie? Have we dropped the IE?
I don't know. My dad probably would want Richard Renz Jr.
Richard Renz Jr., RRJ. All right, Gary versus Rich. Mitch has a conflict of interest in this race, so he will not be calling it. Jeremy, I can't wait to see what ducks he picks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is there dad and son? He picks butterflies. All right, here we go.
My dad's not going to be happy.
Yeah, Mitch, you're going to have to get off screen. We can't have you off screen. You are. It is a.
I got to hide my caterpillar.
It's a conflict of interest. We cannot have Rich's son, Mitch, as a part of this show. Rich, the yellow butterfly. Chai, the red butterfly. We got 22 seconds to go in this race. Neither butterfly has moved. Now Chai takes a little bit of a lead. All right, we're about halfway through. You can't even see Rich anymore, but he is a late bloomer. All right, Rich coming back now. All right, tied up, 10 seconds to go. 9, 8. Is it going to be Richie Renz Jr.? 7, 6, 5, 4. Does Gary have it in him at the last? He does not. It's going to be Richard Renz Jr. moving along in this race.
Storm
it
the court.
It is a full-on storm of the court for this upset. All right, back to Mitch.
This is March.
This is March. Let's do the last race, Gary. Close one. Also, we got some breaking news here in the NFL. The Houston Texans are planning to sign cornerback C.J. Henderson. Jeremy today was like, I don't know if I want him to sign it. C.J. Henderson, according to Jeremy Fowler, is planning to sign with the Houston Texans. So he had a visit today, right? He had a visit today. Papa Renz gets the dub. Papa Renz with the dub, which now means we got Richie Cruz up against Cameron Abbott. Can we get a battle of the Richies? I think if you get 2 Richies, it turns into a dick. No? We'll go Dick Renz, Richie Cruz if that happens. That's my dad's least favorite thing. If you guys ever meet my dad in person and you want to tick him off, call him Dick. Yeah, call him Dick. He's going to watch this back and he's going to be like, I can't believe you told people that. It's all right. It's all right. Only the real ones will get it. I think if honestly, if one of y'all had the balls to do it, he'd laugh about it. He'd get mad at me, but I would think it's funny. Sounds like a good short. 30 seconds to go here. We got Cameron Abbott, the 2 seed, up against Richie Cruz, the 15 seed. The final race in our Los Angeles bracket coming up right now. You ready? You ready? Let's let it ride. Here we go. Ooh, these guys, they came out hot. I'll tell you what, Cameron Abbott right now and Richie Cruz, is that a star? I thought that was a hole in that boat. Cruz is cruising right now. I mean, they are a comfortable lead. You're looking at halftime. Look at a double-digit lead. I'm actually a little bit here worried about Cameron Abbott. Is Abbott going to be making a comeback? Oh, this is going to come down to the wire. 4 seconds to go. Does he have enough? He does. And he gets the dub. Cameron Abbott. That's a big-time win there for Abbott. I was a little bit worried that a 15 seed catch the win. And it does not happen. Cameron Abbott with the dub. Definitely hit the nos there, Nico. I think that's right. And let's go from the top. And here is of the Los Angeles region. Let's look at the Los Angeles region. The number 16 seed, Paul Ruiz, got the dub over Jose Corona. Rob Fravor ended up getting Paul's going to be going up against Jose Corona. Correct. Paul got the dub over Trivan. Jose got the dub over Ray. Then you got Rob Fravor going up against the 4 seed Scott Eckert in the next round. And then the next part of the Los Angeles bracket down on the bottom, Mo Chavez, the big upset, Justin Gilbert over Ryan Campbell, the 3 seed. Then you got my dad, Richard Renz, Papa Renz at 10, has a tough matchup up against Lord Cameron Abbott. So that means tomorrow, the games that we're going to be doing tomorrow here on the Raiders Report are Patrick B. going to be going up against Matthew Lozano. Then Randall Carter up against Vanessa Lounge. Misty Williamson going to be going up against Troy Williams. Adriano Martinez up against Mike Van Leuven. Then Jose Delgado up against Rodolfo Kemp. Nico Laz up against Dees. Mickey Camacho going to be battling Anthony Parks. LA Crash Dog battling Robert Price, which that's going to be an interesting one. We got 93 Navman talking a lot, which I think that out of all the matchups, that might be one that I'm most curious about. Then the number 1 seed, John Scheffler, up against Trevor Repleto. Isaac Hernandez against Laurie Sandoval. Raider Sancho going to be going up against Sean Johnson. PG 28-6-9 against Michael Gomez. And then around this thing out in the Brockton region, which if you don't know why, you can Google it. James Guevara against Martin Elizondo. Matthew Yoakum against Gabriel Figueroa. Alfred Ramirez going to be going up against Yoda Jenkins. And then Rebel Montana against Noah Garcia. That is our bracket for March Madness. I appreciate all of y'all for participating. Hopefully, you've enjoyed it. Nico said, damn, these nuts really about to beat me. Potentially. All right, y'all. Did I already read it? I read it out loud. You batshit crazy, Mitch. No way we trade up for a quarterback. I am batshit crazy, and I think that's part of it, right? Like, that's okay to be batshit crazy. You got to be a little crazy sometimes. And at the end of the day, I'm still going to hold out hope that the Raiders could potentially make a move and go get their quarterback. And I don't think anybody should be upset about a team wanting to be aggressive and go get their quarterback. If anything, and life has always shown me, when you go try to get something, you're rewarded for it. When you sit back, it's not how it goes. So if they love their guy enough, and it's Jaden, and they want to go up and get him, I'm on board with it. So, all right, y'all, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Make sure you guys watch a lot of March Madness. I do think this time of the year is probably some of the most fun out there. Being a former college athlete myself, you're just seeing dudes put it all on the line here. And it's a lot of good basketball, a lot of upsets as well. March is crazy. I'm going to enjoy watching it tonight with my dog, Chuck. So from me, from Jeremy Chuggs, tomorrow, Friday happy hour, 4 p.m. Eastern time. 1 p.m. Pacific. Hopefully you guys are ready to get your drinking pants on. I know I'm going to be ready to rock. Hopefully you guys are too. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow unless any breaking news happens. I'm out.